Hey guys, it's me, Amaterasu, back with another part 2, the hope of the Senju clan, aka, what if Naruto was a Senju? I don't have much more to say besides check out my second channel, link in the description, but without further ado, roll the intro.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Boys, my wheels got in my bag and I got all my feels. I'm getting this paper, I'm stacking a meal. I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills. Yeah. I'ma keep it real, had to sacrifice to try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She said she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life cause she see me on the ground.
Chapter 12, Sensei. In the Hokage office. Currently in his office, the Hokage was debriefing his youngest son Asuma and recently made Jonin Yuhi Kurenai about their teams who had passed their team tests given to them by Asuma and Kurenai. Just as the Hokage had finished debriefing them and was about to dismiss them, Kakashi suddenly sunshined, body flickered, into the office. Ah, Kakashi, I did not expect you to arrive for a while longer. I'm guessing that you have finished testing your latest Jonin team, spoke the old Hokage, as he puffed his pipe. Yes, Lord Hokage, I have, replied the copy nin. So Kakashi, did they pass or did they fail like all the others? Asked Asuma as he was curious if this team did what none of the other teams that Kakashi had tested had done, pass his bell test. Asuma wasn't the only one that was curious, as Kurenai was equally curious as she knew that Naruto was on Kakashi team, and from what she saw of him and what little Hinata told her about him, he seemed a nice enough young man. Hiruzen was also eager to find out if Naruto passed Kakashi test. He had originally planned to watch the test on his crystal ball. But unfortunately, a meeting with his advisors, Koharu, Homura and Danzo, took longer than expected, and then he had to deal with the greatest bane of his existence, paperwork, where by the time he was done, he had to debrief all the Jonin senseis to see who passed and who failed. Well, to put it simply, the team passed, replied Kakashi. Upon hearing this, the Hokage smiled, Kurenai nodded, and Asuma raised his eyebrow, as he hadn't been exactly sure if this team would pass or fail, although considering that it had the top Kunoichi, the Rookie of the Year and last Uchiha heir in Konoha, along with the Senju heir, who was Tsunade's son and the descendant of the Shodaime and Nidaime Hokages, the team had a better chance of passing than any of the other teams that had tried. Although he was happy that the kids passed, he was still slightly disappointed, as there had been a large betting pool with a large number of the shinobi populace about if the kids would be the team that passed the test. Many had bet that they would pass, considering who was on the team, while many others bet that they wouldn't, considering Kakashi's high standards and track record. Asuma himself had bet they would fail, hence he lost a tidy sum of money. So the team passed your test, Kakashi, and figured out the hidden meaning of it, spoke Asuma, and he puffed out a smoke from his cig. Well, they didn't exactly, replied Kakashi. Huh? Said Asuma in slight confusion, and was joined by his father and Kurenai as they were slightly confused as well. Well, to be correct, Naruto was the only one that really passed the test while the other two failed, answered Kakashi. But how did they all pass when two of them failed? You're not making any sense, Kakashi. Asked Kurenai. They all passed because Naruto figured out the meaning of the test, beat me and got the bells off me and gave them the bells, said Kakashi. When Kakashi said this, all three people could not believe what they heard. Asuma dropped his cigarette, Kurenai was wide-eyed, and Hiruzen dropped his pipe. After a minute or so of silence, Kurenai spoke up. Kakashi, you can't be serious. You're telling us that Naruto, a newly made Jonin, defeated you, one of the strongest Jonins in the village, in a fight? Yay, Kakashi, you can't actually expect us to believe that? Asked Asuma in disbelief, as the very idea of it was ridiculous. Even if this kid is a Senju and is Tsunade-sama's son, it's impossible. Well, it's true, I'm afraid, although I do admit I underestimated him several times in the fight, and he already knew a lot about me, from what his mother and Jiraiya-sama told him about me. He also had me at a disadvantage, as I knew none of his abilities and skills, hence I didn't know what he was fully capable of, until it was too late, where he then beat me. Perhaps you should explain exactly what happened during the test, Kakashi, spoke the Sandaime, as he was now very curious what exactly Naruto could do, as Jiraiya was supposed to show up yesterday and tell him about Naruto's abilities, but he did not show. The Hokage was a patient man, but after hearing his 12-year-old surrogate grandson and newly made Jonin beating Konoha's top Jonin in a fight, made him want to know exactly what Naruto was capable of and what his former students had been training him in. Kakashi of course agreed and began to tell them how he had explained the rules of the bell test to Naruto and the others, after which he then went on to explain how he beat Sakura by using Magen, Narakumi no Jutsu, demonic illusion, hell viewing technique. When Kurenai heard this she frowned, since she had seen Sakura's grads and academy records, hence she should have easily got out of that weak level genjutsu. This of course made her wonder what exactly the academy had been teaching these kids today and wonder how far had the academy levels fallen, if the top kunoichi could not get out of a simple weak level genjutsu. Kakashi explained how Naruto knew the first meaning of the test thanks to his mother and Jiraiya, where he then rescued Sakura where he tried and failed to get her to work with him. Kakashi then went on to explain his battle with Sasuke, where the Hokage and the two other Jonin senseis were both surprised and impressed with how well Sasuke fared against Kakashi by himself. Not to mention how he knew and had mastered the Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu, fire style, great fireball technique, a C-rank level fire jutsu. Kakashi then told them how like before with Sakura, Naruto rescued Sasuke and tried to get him to work with him, but failed again like with Sakura. But even despite hearing how Naruto had failed to get Sasuke to work with him, the Hokage along with Asuma and Kurenai had been impressed with how Naruto managed to trick Kakashi and escape, as it had shown that he had fully mastered of the basics and could use them effectively in battle. Once he finished that explanation, Kakashi proceeded to explain his fight with Naruto. Both Sarutobis and Kurenai was greatly surprised when they heard that Naruto had created his own taijutsu style. Even if it wasn't fully developed yet, it still showed that Naruto had a great deal of talent to do that at his age. They had been further impressed when they learned of Naruto's kenjutsu skill, but that quickly turned to shock when Kakashi told them that he had a wind affinity and had created his own A-level rank wind jutsu. Damn, the kid actually created a technique like that by himself, said Asuma as he puffed out some smoke from a new cigarette, as he was clearly impressed with Naruto's skill level when Kakashi told them as to master his wind affinity to the point of being able to use Hien no Jutsu, flying swallow technique, by just teaching himself, at his age, and still create an A-rank jutsu, as powerful as the one Kakashi described to them, told him that Naruto was far more talented than everyone thought. He also wondered at the same time if he could get Naruto to teach him that technique, as from what Kakashi told them of it, it could be very useful in a fight. Impossible, Kakashi, no child could create a technique like that by himself, replied Kurenai in disbelief, as she could not believe that Naruto created an A-rank level wind technique like that by himself. Well, it true, Kurenai, as he had no reason to lie, and I could tell he wasn't, not to mention there no way his mother or Jiraiya-sama could have taught him it, as neither of them have a wind affinity or are skilled in wind jutsus, replied back Kakashi. The Hokage himself remained silent, as Kakashi and the other discussed Naruto abilities in wind jutsu, as he was just as equally as shocked as his son and Kurenai, while at the same time proud of Naruto as a grandfather would be. You're truly are you father-son Naruto, as I would expect nothing less from a son of Minato, thought the old Hokage with a smile. Soon enough the discussing about Naruto's wind jutsu's abilities ended, and Kakashi went on to explain the rest of his fight with Naruto, where he explained how Naruto was able to use Bunshin Daibakua, clone great explosion, which surprised the three people, as well as explain how Naruto was clearly skilled in medical ninjutsu, as he used Chakura no Mesu, chakra scalpel, effectively against Kakashi. This of course was of no great surprise to the three, since Naruto was the son of the greatest medic in the world, so it would be only natural that Tsunade would train her son in medical ninjutsu, and how to use some jutsus in a fight. But even still they were impressed with his skill in using Chakura no Mesu so effectively in a fight, as it would be tricky even for most skilled medics to do. But as impressed as they were with Naruto's medical skills, they were utterly stunned when they learned of Naruto's Chakura no Purusu, chakra pulse, technique. Naruto created a technique like that? Asked Sandaime in shock after Kakashi explained Naruto's Chakura no Purusu. The copy nin just nodded, as he didn't blame the old Hokage for being shocked, nor could he blame Kurenai or Asuna, who were equally shocked. Damn, this kid gets more and more impressive by the minute, spoke Asuma, where Kurenai could only nod in agreement. Once Hiruzen, Kurenai and Asuma had gotten over their shock of a Jonin creating a technique as advanced and as impressive as the Chakura no Purusu, Kakashi then asked if the Hokage could bring his crystal ball into the office from his viewing room, as what he was about to tell them next was best left to been shown. Curious, the Sandaime agreed and called his secretary and asked her to bring his crystal ball into his office, which she did and then left. Once the Sandaime's secretary had left, Kakashi asked the Hokage to show them Training Ground 3. When he did, he along with Kurenai and Asuma were astounded to see that the entire training ground was completely destroyed, where the ground was ruined with massive holes and cranks in ground, as well as both small and massive lumps of earth and rock all over the ground. It was like a small but powerful earthquake happened in the training ground. Kakashi, are you telling us that Naruto did all that by himself? Sighed the wide-eyed Kurenai, where Kakashi just nodded. Did he use some kind of earth jutsu or something? Asked Asuma. No, he did that all when he hit the ground with just his fist, replied Kakashi, where the old Hoga and the other's eyes widened more in shock. Kakashi, you can't mean that Naruto has asked the Sandaime, but before he could finish, Kakashi finished it for him. Yes, Naruto has Tsunade-sama's superhuman strength, although not at the level of his mother yet, but enough to rival it, and given time he could match it, and as you already must know, that if he can do this, it also means that he has inherited his mother's natural flawless chakra control and quat. When the three other people in the office heard this, they could believe it. The Sandaime was the first to get over his shock, where he sighed. Sigh. It figures that Tsunade would teach Naruto how to do her superhuman strength. I only hope that Naruto hasn't inherited her habit of causing collateral damage and quat. He thought as he remembered the amount of damage Tsunade would do to the village when she lost her temper over some event or thing Jiraiya did when they were younger, after she created the technique. Not to mention the amount of paperwork it caused him, as the damage caused his paperwork to triple. Kakashi then continued on with his story, where he then went on to explain Naruto's genjutsu skill and how he used Meigen, Niju Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, double false surroundings technique, and used a Meigen, Jubaku Satsu, demonic illusion, tree binding death, to nearly defeat him. Kurenai was of course greatly impressed with Naruto's genjutsu skill, as it took good knowledge and skill with Jinjutsu to do something like that. Kurenai and the others were further impressed when Kakashi told them how Naruto tricked Kakashi and caught him in a Kekai Koti Fun, four-corner immobilization seal. As not everyone could trick and trap Kakashi, and it showed that Naruto had not only good tactical skills, but also good sealing skills, which wasn't surprising as Jiraiya had helped train Naruto. But they were utterly shocked again when Kakashi told them that Naruto had both water and earth affinities along with his wind affinity, revealing he had 3 natural nature affinities, something that was extremely rare to happen unless the person had some elemental bloodline. They were shocked even further when Kakashi told them that Naruto had the same kind of high affinity to water that his great-granduncle the Nidaime Hokage had, although Naruto could not do it at the same level as the Nidaime yet, but over time and training he could very well could. Kakashi, are you certain of this? Spoke the elder Sarutobi, to which Kakashi just nodded. My Kami, I never thought that Naruto could actually inherit Sensei's high water affinity, to be able to create a full water dragon from just the moisture of the air and surrounding plants and trees, is nothing short of incredible, said Sarutobi, as he could also just image Koharu and Homura reaction when they heard this. There more Hokage-sama, spoke Kakashi, which got everyone attention as many were going over what they had just learned. It seems that young Naruto has actually 4 elemental affinities, not 3, shocking the other 3 people in the room. But before they could interrupt him, Kakashi continued on. You see, when Naruto used the Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, water style, water dragon bullet technique, on me, he also created 2 other clones and had them focus his different element affinities for him to combine them with his water dragon. He combined his wind affinity to increase the water dragon's speed and power, while he had his other clone channel his lightning affinity to increase the water dragon's attacking power, making the jutsu greatly more powerful than it originally was. Kakashi, are you saying that not only has Naruto 4 natural nature affinities, something that is about 1 in a million or more, but also successfully did an advanced level combination jutsu with a B-ranked level water jutsu? Asked Asuma in surprise. As the more he heard about this fight, the more Naruto sounded something like the second coming of the Yondaime Hokage. Yes, replied Kakashi, simple. Getting over his shock again, Sandaime sigh, as he didn't think that he could be any more astonished than he was right now, as Naruto had shown more skill than he ever thought possible. Minato, my friend, you and Tsunade truly created a monster, he thought, as a small chuckle could not help but escape his lips, after which he turned back to Kakashi. Is there any other surprises you have left to tell us, Kakashi, because I don't think my old heart can take much more, spoke the old Hokage with a slight smile. Just one, Hokage-sama. It seems that Naruto has Makuten, said Kakashi. For a few moments the Hokage said nothing, after which he then spoke again calmly. Could you say that again, Kakashi? I don't think I quite heard you right, as I thought you said that Naruto had Makuten. I did, as Naruto does indeed have the Makuten power of his great-grandfather the Shadaime Hokage. What? Cried the Hokage as he spat out his pipe out again in complete and utter shock, while both Asuma and Kurenai were stupefied. Once the Hokage got over his shock, he looked Kakashi straight in the eye. Kakashi, are you certain of this? Positive, Hokage-sama, replied Kakashi with complete seriousness, where he then explained the rest of what happened. Once Kakashi finished, the Hokage just fell back into his chair and muttered a single word, Makuten, and quat. Naruto has Makuten. Who could have believed that of all the members of the Senju clan to have lived, the Makuten powers would re-emerge in Naruto, the Jinchuriki of the Kyubi no Yoko, though the Sandaime, as he realized what this meant for Naruto. Truly, Naruto, you are the most surprising and unpredictable shinobi I have ever come across in my many years. But how is that possible? Spoke a still stunned Kurenai. Though Makuten was not a bloodline, as only the Shodaime Hokage had it and none of his descendants like Tsunade-sama had it. I do not know Kurenai, but I believe that former students Jiraiya and Tsunade know, as I can't believe that they would not know how Naruto has the Makuten, answered the old Hokage, as he now realized why Naruto refused to tell him any of his abilities. No doubt Jiraiya wanted to tell and explain everything himself, for fear in case someone overheard Naruto telling him. But even still he wanted to know why he was not told sooner, as it was clear that Naruto had this ability for a while, considering how he was able to use Makuten to capture Kakashi. Naruto, you are a true Senju in every way, thought the elder Sarutobi as he began to image the council reaction to Naruto having Makuten, since if Naruto had it then there was a new possibility that Makuten may finally become an official bloodline, where there was a slight possibility that he could pass it to any children he may have in the future. Also, once the council heard this, then the members who had hoped to somehow arrange a marriage with Naruto will double if not triple their efforts to make it happen, as Makuten was probably Konoha's most highly revered ability, even more so than the Sharingan, as it was with this power that the Shodaime Hokage was able to build Konoha and create the forest around it. Not to mention its abilities rivaled that of the Uchiha clan Sharingan, and it had the power to control and subdue the Bijus. Sarutobi would not be surprised if certain members of the council would demand that once Naruto was of marry age, he would marry someone who the council believed would bear strong children in the hope of producing more Makuten wielders. He also could almost image Koharu, Danzo and Homura's shocked looks when he informed them and the council, since he would have too. He also now understood how Jiraiya must have gotten Tsunade to agree to let Naruto become a Konoha shinobi, as he would need to come here to be trained in Makuten, where Jiraiya must have told Tsunade what Orochimaru had done. After the shock wore off everyone, Kakashi finished with his story and told the others the remainder of what happened and how Naruto had figured out the second meaning of the test by himself, which made the old Hokage proud, but still he did not have the same effect on him as Naruto having the Makuten. Hokage-sama, what do you intend to do next? Asked Kurenai. I will inform the council of this, as I have to tell them in matters such as this. Also I will have we speak to Jiraiya about the matter when he arrives, and we will go from there, replied the Sandaime. Hokage-sama, if I may, I would like to make a suggestion, spoke Kakashi, where the Hokage nodded, telling him to go ahead. I would like to suggest that Naruto be taken off my team and quat. At this Asuma and Kurenai snapped their heads to Kakashi and looked at him like he was crazy. They had done it so fast that both Kakashi and the Hokage wondered how their necks didn't snap off. Kakashi, you can't be serious, said Kurenai in surprise. Yeah, Kakashi, are you nuts? Asked Asuma. I can assure you, Asuma, I'm quite sane. Then why the hell would you want to take the kid off your team, especially one as talented as him? You basically just told us that the kid is more talented than any other Jonin that Konoha has had in years. You could even say he's the Senju clan's version of Itachi without the whole killing his clan thing. Not to mention you have Itachi little brother who you said is a prodigy as well, and you have the top Kunoichi Haruno Sakura. Do you know how many Jonin senseis who would kill to be in your shoes? You probably have the best team that Konoha has had since the Sannin, and you want to get rid of the most talented one among them. Half the freaking Jonin senseis here were practically begging to be the kid's sensei only a few days ago, and that was before we knew all this, spoke Asuma. The reason I'm doing it is because it is what is best for Naruto, as he needs a different sensei, one who can help him better than I can. Don't get me wrong, I would be more than happy to train Naruto, but I'm not the right sensei for him, as I can't teach him how to control his Makuten abilities. I don't have much skill in Kenjutsu, and I don't have any wind jutsus. Not to mention I don't know any medical ninjutsu, and my genjutsu skills are limited. Besides, once Sasuke activates his Sharingan, I will have to focus a lot of my time on him, as I'm the only person that can train in using it. After which my remaining time would turn to Sakura and Naruto, which will not be enough for him as he needs help in things like Makuten, and I believe you will agree with me, Hokage-sama, that there's someone far more qualified than me to help him in that, replied Kakashi, giving the Hokage a knowing look. The Hokage of course nodded in understanding and was actually pleased that Kakashi suggested it, as he was about to suggest the very same thing that Kakashi just did, and he did not like the idea of having to order Kakashi to give up one of his students. Then who the hell can teach the kid better than you, Kakashi? Asked Asuma, as he was not getting what Kakashi was talking about. Then I believe that introduction is in order, spoke the Sandaime, where he the spoke out fox, tiger, please reveal yourselves, after which two masked Anbu appeared. One was a woman with long red fiery hair that went down her rear, the other was a tall man with short brown hair. You may both remove your masks, spoke the Sandaime, where both Anbu nodded and took off their masks, revealing a young man in his mid-20s and young woman in her mid-30s. Yo, Kenzo, Kushina senpai greeted Kakashi friendly like with his traditional smile, where both smile and nodded. Asuma, Kurenai, allow me to introduce you to Captain Uzumaki Kushina and Tenzo, spoke the Sandaime. Kurenai eyes widened, recognizing Uzumaki Kushina, one of Konoha's top female shinobis, otherwise known as the Baratie Shinku no Ikari, Bloody Crimson Fury, and also known in Konoha as Akai Chizio no Habanero, red hot-blooded habanero. 1. Kenzo, I believe you and Kushina heard everything, so I need not explain what I would like you to do, spoke the old Hokage. Hi, Hokage-sama, and it would be my honor to teach Tsuan-sama's son and train him in his Makuten powers. Excuse me Lord Hokage, but how is Tenzo here, going to teach the kid Makuten as the only user other than the kid was the Shodaime Hokage, asked Asuma in a neutral tone. At this reply, the Sandaime could not help but feel slightly hurt, as ever since the death of his eldest son neither he nor his younger son had seen eye to eye much. They even had an argument when he joined the Shugonin Junishi, 12 Guardian Ninja, and ever since his return things have been strenuous at best, especially when they were alone. But quickly pushing that aside, the Hokage began to explain the events that lead to Tenzo have Makuten. When Kurenai and Asuma heard the story, both were horrified. Kurenai felt like she was going to be sick, while Asuma felt disgusted at what his father's former student did, as it showed how far that man had fallen from grace. The others in the room who already knew the story did not blame Asuma or Kurenai for how they felt, for they felt the same when they first heard it first, or in Hiruzen case saw what Orochimaru had done. As you both now know, I will have Naruto placed under Tenzo care as his apprentice so that he can teach Naruto Makuten. Hence from now on Tenzo will go by Yamato and be Naruto's new sensei, where you will be given the rank of Jonin, spoke the Hokage. Hi, I understand and accept Hokage-sama, replied the now named Yamato. Good, also you should know Yamato, you will have to share apprenticeship with Jiraiya, as he has claimed Naruto as his apprentice, although I'm sure you will be willing to share it considering you will be teaching Naruto to use his Makuten power. Also as well you should know that Kushina will be assisting part-time, spoke the Hokage before Kushina interrupted him. Excuse me Hokage-sama, but why I'm going to be assisting Yamato, as the boy has both Jiraiya and Tenzo training him, he doesn't need another, replied Kushina. Kushina, you're a Konoha foremost Kenjutsu expert and one of our best Fuinjutsu users, which is why I believe that Naruto will benefit greatly from your help in Kenjutsu and Fuinjutsu. But that in itself is only a cover, as I'm assigning you to act as Naruto's bodyguard at least for a while, said the Sandaime before being interrupted again by Kushina. You mean I'm babysitting him, said annoyed Kushina. Not exactly Kushina, as Naruto has already shown he can handle himself in a fight, but yes, I do want to help protect him, when on mission as well as around Konoha. As you can guess, once news spreads of Naruto's existence, not to mention what he's capable of, many of our enemies and will come after Naruto, for he is the son of Tsunade and the first natural-born Makuten user since the Shodaime Hokage, who could very well rebuild a new Senju clan filled with Makuten users, something that many villages would love to have considering its abilities. Not only that, but I want you to help protect Naruto from threats inside the village itself, as there are already many groups in Konoha like the civilians and Danzo, who will want to use Naruto for their own means, and once they learn of what Naruto can do, they will want Naruto even more, so to manipulate and use him for their own use, and as you can already guess, when Naruto is older he will have enormous influence in the village. That is why I had Naruto placed in an apartment near your own so that you can keep an eye on him better, said the Hokage. Upon hearing this, Kushina nodded in understanding and accepted the Hokage's mission, where she was now a Jonin, but would keep her own name as she preferred not to use a code name. Also Kurenai, Asuma, I would like you to help Naruto part-time and even mix him with your teams a bit, but when it best suits you and will not interfere with your team's training, said the Sandaime. But Hokage-sama, why us? Surely Jiraiya-sama, Kushina-san, Yamato-san along with Tsunade-sama when she returns will be more than enough to help train young Naruto, spoke Kurenai. The reason is because, due to the threat that Naruto will be under from our enemies, he will need to become as strong as he possibly can and quickly as he can so to be able to defend himself. Also, since he will have no teammates, I think it best that he mix with others his own age, as he spent most of his life travailing with his mother and has very few real friends his own age. So it will do him good to make new ones here where he can form bonds with them and in the village. Not to mention as well, you Kurenai are one of our top Genjutsu users, and Naruto needs a good Genjutsu teacher, and you Asuma are one of only 2 wind users here, the other being Danzo, and I would like you to train Naruto further in wind jutsu, as Danzo may use that excuse to get close to Naruto and to try and manipulate him, said the old Hokage. Both Jonins nodded in understanding and agreed that once they fully set up their teams, they would try work out a schedule to help train Naruto in their areas. Excuse me Hokage-sama, but what about the missing spot on Kakashi team? Who will fill in Naruto's place on the team? Asked Kurenai, as with Naruto gone Team 7 was a member short. I have already thought of that. There was another student that was going to put on Team 7 that had not been in the academy, but I had him held back as Naruto was already sorted in Kakashi's team. But with Naruto gone to train under Yamato, the other student can take his place on Kakashi's team, replied the Hokage, who got a nod of agreement from Kakashi. Once that matter had been settled, the Hokage was about to adjourn this gathering, But before he could, a figure suddenly appeared in the office as it sunshined in. The figure was none other than Jiraiya. "Hey sensei, long time no see, sorry I'm late as my meeting with my contact took longer than I thought. So how did Naruto do?" "No wait, don't tell me. Let me guess he passed with flying colors. Boy, I remember the time that I gave his dad and his team the bell test. Ah, that takes me back. Minato was the clever sort where he," spoke Jiraiya excitedly, as he had been eager to find out what team Naruto was on and how well he passed the team test for whatever team he was on. He had been so excited that he failed to notice the others in the room until it was too late. "Jiraiya," cried the Sandaime angrily as Jiraiya had just blurted out something he shouldn't have in front of the other. When Jiraiya turned around and saw them, "Oops, I guess I came at a bad time." At the moment that Jiraiya basically said that Minato was Naruto's father, jaws hit the floor and eyes went to the size of saucer plates. "Sensei HH had an S-son," said wide-eyed and stupefied Kakashi. "WW with T Tsunade-sama," finished an equally stupefied Kurenai. "Damn. Was all Asuma could say." "Sarutobi, I suggest that you give us some answers, now," replied a very annoyed and slightly angry Kushina, as she wanted an explanation now. At this Sarutobi could only sigh and glare at Jiraiya for being such baka and was tempted to strangle him, where all Jiraiya could do was rub the back of his head and look embarrassed with a stupid grin. Sigh, "Very well then, but what I about to tell you is a S-class secret where only Jiraiya, Tsunade, Naruto, Tsunade's student Shizune and myself know about, and if you tell anyone you will be charged with treason," spoke the elder Sarutobi seriously. At this everyone stiffed at the seriousness of the Hokage's tone, as treasons was punishable with death. The Sandaime then went on to explain the events that lead to Naruto existing, which was something many of the other found hard to believe. "So you're telling us that Minato-kun and Tsunade both got drunk together one night?" spoke Kushina. "Where they then spent the night together," said Kurenai. "After which, Tsunade-sama found out that she was pregnant with Naruto and that Sensei was the father," said Kakashi. "Where she decided to keep young Naruto and give birth to him in the village," finished Yamato. "That is correct," stated the Sandaime. "Damn, no wonder the kid's so talented and powerful for his age. He basically has cage blood flowing through his veins. With his mother being Konoha no name Kuji Tsunade Haim, Konoha's slug princess Tsunade, member of the Densetsu no Sanin, legendary 3 ninjas, and the world's strongest kunoichi and a greatest medic. His father being Yondaime Hokage, Konoha no Kyosenko, Konoha's yellow flash, his great-grandfather being the Shadaime Hokage and his great-granduncle being the Nidaime Hokage," spoke Asuma. As the revelation stuck, Kakashi could not help but be depressed. "Naruto is Sensei's son. How could have I been so blind? He looks almost like a younger version of him with a few small differences. I had a chance to finally pay back Sensei for everything he did for me by training his son, but I threw it away," he thought sadly. Seeing the depressed look on Kakashi, Asuma decided to cheer him up. "Hey Kakashi, don't worry about it. Like you said, this Yamato guy would be a better teacher for him. Besides, you can still help train him better in his lightning affinity and other ninjutsu and quat." This course cheered Kakashi up a bit and he nodded his head in. Thanks to Asuma, Kakashi wasn't the only person to be slightly depressed at the news, as Kushina was slightly depressed as well. Minato-kun had a child, Tsunade of all people. "I never, though he went for older women. Sigh. I still can't believe he got drunk and spelt with Tsunade all people. And I can't be angry because we had broken up already and it had been my idea, but still. Sigh. I wonder what could have happened if we had stayed together and if we could have had a child together. Would Naruto have been our son? I wonder what Naruto is like?" Though Kushina, as Kushina and Kakashi were getting over the slight depressing over what they did in the past, Jiraiya suddenly spoke up, remembering something that Asuma said. "Wait, what do you mean by explaining how strong he was?" asked Jiraiya, where the Sandaime then gave Jiraiya a quick run-through of what they had been talking about before he arrived. "Damn," spoke Jiraiya, "I had hoped the brat would have waited a little longer before exposing what he could do, but I guess he had no choice when it came to passing or failing after those other two wouldn't work with him." "Hokage-sama, although I can understand why you feel the need to keep young Naruto-san full heritage secret for now, so to prevent the large number of enemies that would come after him due to his heritage alone, I still do not understand why it is declared an S-class secret nor why it was kept from the ruling council, as when they eventually hear this there will be a great deal of trouble from them over not being told about it." At this Sarutobi looked at Jiraiya, who just said, "You might as well tell them, Sensei, since they be helping the kid." Sigh. "The reason why this is all ranked an S-level secret is because Naruto was born on the night of the Kyuubi attack. Whereas you all know, Minato knew that we could not defeat the Kyuubi, so he used a special jutsu that he created called the Shiki Fujin, dead demon consuming seal, and sacrificed himself to seal the Kyuubi into a child to stop the demon. But what you don't know is that child was Naruto," said the Hokage, shocking everyone, minus Jiraiya. "The Yondaime actually sealed the demon into his own son?" Asked Kurenai in shock as she doubted she could do such a thing herself in the Yondame's place, knowing how Jinchurikis were usually treated. But why did the Yondame not seal the demon into another child? Why did he choose his own son? Asked the Yamato. The Yondame was far too noble a person to ask another family to make such a sacrifice when he could not himself, stated the Sandaime sadly. Both Kakashi and Kushina nodded in agreement with the Sandaime as they knew what the Yondame was like. So you can now see why Naruto was kept out of the village. His existence was kept secret along with the rest of his heritage. As for the reason why I never told the council, if they learned that Naruto was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, nine-tailed demon fox, along with the rest of his heritage, they would have never have allowed Tsunade leave the village with Naruto, where he would either be treated as an outcast for being a Jinchuriki or spoilt rotten for his lineage by the village, both of which were unacceptable to me, not to mention if the other villages found out about Naruto's existence and being Tsunade's and Minato's son, they would stop at nothing to kidnap or kill Naruto. Also as well, we would have to worry about inside forces like Danzo, since as the son of Minato and the heir of the Senju clan, Naruto will have enormous political power. Not to mention he will have enormous control over Konoha's economy as the heir to the Namikaze family, since 51% of the businesses in Konoha belong to the Namikaze family. Where if you combined all that with Naruto having the power of the Kyuubi as well the abilities that we now know he has, then with Naruto, Danzo would then have more than enough power to take complete control of Konoha and rule it his way, which as you know would be disastrous for Konoha. Not to mention as well what the other villages would do if they found out the same thing about Naruto's abilities and the Kyuubi, said the old Hokage. At this kind of reasoning the others could only nod about keeping things like that from the council, especially the fact that Naruto had both Makuten and the strongest Bijuu alive inside him. Since if you combine the power of a Jinchuriki that contains the strongest of Bijus inside him, with the power of Makuten which can suppress Biju's powers and control them, you get a force that could be virtually unstoppable, once Naruto has mastered and can control both. Once that was explained, the Sandaime then turned to Jiraiya, now Jiraiya. I would like to know when Naruto awakened his Makuten bloodline and why neither you nor Tsuade informed of it? Asked the Sandaime. I'm sorry sensei, Tsunade wanted to tell you, but I convinced her not to, since I thought the fewer people know about this the better, as I feared there might be a chance that someone like Danzo could intercept the message or somehow learn about it if we told you. I knew that eventually Naruto would have to reveal his Makuten bloodline, where when he did you would have the excuse of not knowing and you wouldn't have to deal with Danzo or his supporters on the council, trying to usurp your position over how you didn't inform them about Naruto's abilities, as I figured they have already made several big issues about not being informed of Naruto's existence, said Jiraiya, getting a nod of understand from the Sandaime, although he still did not like being kept out of the loop about his surrogate grandson for so long. And what about his high water affinity? He asked. That he only showed last year, where when I was training him he instinctively did a Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu, water clone technique, in the middle of the forest by gathering the moisture from the grass and air. When I tested him on some other water jutsus that required a larger amounts of water, he was still able to do them without any problem or ill effect, replied Jiraiya. The Sandaime just nodded again in understanding. Is there anything else that we should know about Naruto, Jiraiya? Well, there is one other thing sensei, although it isn't about Naruto it still does involve him, spoke Jiraiya, where the Sandaime signaled him to continue on. Currently there is a group called the Akatsuki. They're a small group that have been doing missions for cheap prices for both shinobi villages and countries and have been slowly gaining strength. The group is made up of 9 S-class missing nins, spoke Jiraiya, shocking everyone in the room. Are you certain of this, Jiraiya? Asked the Sandaime, as he knew what kind of threat this Akatsuki would make to any major shinobi village if they were made up of 9 S-class missing nin. Yeah, I'm sure I even know 2 of its members, one being Orochimaru and the other being that Itachi kid, although a while ago Orochimaru left the organization to go on his own after he betrayed the organization when he attacked another member, that member being Itachi and Quat. At this everyone grew concerned as Konoha's 2 most infamous missing nins were members of this organization, and although thankfully Orochimaru was no longer a member, the fact that Itachi was still on it was cause from great concern. What about the others, and what are their plans? Asked the Sandaime. I don't know who the other members are, but as for their plan they want the Bijus, but for what don't know, stated Jiraiya, causing many worried looks to appear on people. But they don't know about Naruto having the Kyuubi, thankfully, although I sure they will find out about his Makuten bloodline sooner or later, and once they do they will come after Naruto for it, as his bloodline could greatly help them or even cause their plan to fail in Quat. For the next 4 minutes the Sandaime thought over what he had heard, after which he then spoke. Jiraiya, although I know I don't need to ask you, I want you to go out and try and find everything you can about the Akatsuki, but before you do, I want you, Kakashi, Yamato and Kushina to come with me, as I will need to inform the council about Naruto abilities and how he fared in Kakashi test, as they wanted to know what happened as soon as the test was over. due to Naruto and Sasuke being on it and quat. Jiraiya nodded in understanding, although he wasn't looking forward to going to see the council as he hated council meetings. Once that was settled, the Sandaime turned to Asuma and Kurenai. Although I sure you already know this, but you are both forbidden to mention anything that we have discussed in the room to anyone without my permission. Is that clear? Spoke the Sandaime in an authoritative tone that showed why he was the Hokage. Both of them nodded, where the Hokage then dismissed them. Although as they were leaving, Asuma made a joke about how the Yondaime not only outdid his sensei Jiraiya, but also lived every young man dream back then, get laid with Tsunade. This of course resulted in him getting a hard smack at the back of his head from Kurenai and then be sent flying into the wall of the outside hallway by a punch from an angry Kushina, showing exactly why she was known as Akai Chizio no Habanero. Soon after, though, the Hokage left his office in a company of Jiraiya, Kakashi, Kushina and Yamato headed to the council room. 1 hour later in the council room, and that what happened, said Kakashi as he finished retelling what happened in the bell test to the council. Once he finished telling them, he had expected much yelling or shouting about what they should do about Naruto. But surprisingly there was only silence, although the silence soon ended when a shocked Koharu spoke out. The boy possesses the Nidaime Hokage high water affinity, along with the Makuten powers of the Shadaime Hokage, said an equally shocked Homura. As well as 4 natural nature affinities, finished the Anbu commander, stunned. Soon enough excited muttering erupted in the council room, where the different council members began to talk over Naruto's skill level amongst themselves. Jiraiya-sama, do you know why the Makuten powers of the Shadaime Hokage as re-merge in young Naruto, when it did not with his mother, her brother, their father or any other Senju member? Asked Shibi, which got much muttering in agreement with other council members. Yes, I do. Many years back when I was doing my studies Myobakuzen, I came across an ancient record written by a sage long ago, back when the great shinobi clans were only being founded. In the records it spoke about when the bloodlines were first showing up. It stated that the bloodlines were unstable in the first holders of them, and many of the children of bloodline holders did not receive their parents' bloodline. It was not until a few generations more after the first bloodline holders of each bloodline did the bloodlines finally stabilize so that the other generations of the clans would have them, although only a few members in certain clans inherited their bloodline. This can explain how not everyone in a clan with a bloodline can receive and use their clan's bloodline, since it may have not stabilized in certain people in those later generations. The Uchiha clan and the Kaguya clan are prime examples of this, since only a quarter of the Uchiha clan members can use the Sharingan, while only a select few from the Kaguya clan possess the Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, since it was only the ancestors of those members of those clans whose bloodline finally stabilized enough for it to be passed down to their children. Unlike the Hyuga clan where all its members were able to retain its bloodline, said Jiraiya, and then continued on. My theory is that Shadaime Hokage was the first person to be born with the Makuten bloodline, and like with the first bloodline users, the Makuten bloodline was too unstable to be passed on to his descendants like Tsunade's father, Suan's brother Noekion Tsunade herself. But it seems that the Makuten bloodline finally stabilized with Naruto, hence why he's the one to have it, finished Jiraiya. When the council heard this, many had to agree it did make sense, after which Choza spoke up. If that's true, Jiraiya-sama, then is there a chance that young Naruto will be able to pass on Makuten to any children he may have in the future, and it can become an official bloodline and quat? This of course got eager looks from the council members, as they were all wondering this now as well. I believe that the chances are very high, if not very likely, considering what Tsunade and I have researched about bloodlines, replied Jiraiya simply, as he already knew what many council members were thinking right now. They were thinking about encouraging their daughters, those that had daughters, who would be near enough around Naruto's age, to become friends with Naruto, so to help lift their family status. For the next 20 minutes there was much arguing between the Hokage and many council members, as those council members were trying to convince the Hokage to sign off on arranging marriages between certain council members' daughters with Naruto, while other members tried to get the Hokage to sign off on getting Naruto to impregnate strong selected kunoichis who were not from any clans, when he turned 16, so that he could rebuild the Senju clan and increase the chances of having strong children with his Makuten bloodline. Unfortunately for them, he would not sign off on either, as he stated that any arranges marriages between any families or clans with Naruto would have to be agreed upon by the head of the Senju clan, which was his mother Tsunade, while the other suggestion was put down immediately, as Sarutobi would not have it and even threatened those that suggested it, that if they ever brought it up again, then he would inform Tsunade himself that they tried to turn her son into a breeding machine for his bloodline, upon her eventually return to Konoha. This of course had the desired effect, as said members gulped audibly at the thought of what Tsunade would do to them once she heard that. Once they realized this, they quickly retracted their suggestion and remained silent. During this time, 2 members of the council remained silent during the entire meeting. They were Hyashi and Danzo. Hyashi had remained silent, Due to thinking over what he had just heard and was wondering whether this would cause the Hyuga clan elders to accelerate their plans on Naruto to elevate the Hyuga clan's position higher, or would they have to change it due to his Makuten bloodline. Danzo on the other hand had remained silent as he analyzed this new discovery. The boy's potential is clearly enormous, as he basically has all the gifts of his ancestors and much, much more. He has his mother flawless chakra control, along with her monstrous strength and medical talent. He also has the Shodaime Hokage's Makuten bloodline, where he can most likely pass it on to future generations, along with the Nidaime's Hokage's high water affinity. He has 4 natural nature affinities and could even quite possibly have Senju Toka talent for Genjutsu, considering how advanced he is already in it. Not to mention he most likely gifted in seals thanks to Jiraiya, as he was able to do a Chunin level Fuinjutsu and is skilled in Kenjutsu and Taijutsu. Altogether, with the right training, the boy could become the greatest Hokage that has ever lived, where he could finally push aside Sarutobi's foolish ideals like of peaceful coexistence and compromise, but not if his mother, Sarutobi, and Jiraiya influence him into having the same beliefs, where he will be just as bad as them. I must find a way to get close to the boy and make him see the light, where he must be ruthless, cruel, cunning, and never to compromise. So to ensure Konoha is strong in its existence and its own peace is maintained, though Danzo as he began to plan to think up ways to get close to Naruto. Once the discussions quietened down, Danzo decided to speak up. Hokage-san, if I may, I would like to make a suggestion in quote. At this, Sarutobi frowned as he had an educated guess as to what Danzo was about to suggest, but he still nodded his head and allowed Danzo to go ahead. Now, as we can clearly guess with your Onbu agent Tenzo here, you no doubt plan to have him made a Jonin sensei and Tsunade's son Naruto be made his apprentice, so to master his Makuten bloodline and perhaps help him in water and earth affinities and quat. At this, Sarutobi nodded as there was no need to hide it. He will also be no doubt trained by his mother in medical ninjutsu and to further improve his superhuman strength, while Jiraiya here would train the boy in Fuinjutsu and perhaps ninjutsu, continued Danzo while getting another nod from Sarutobi. This of course leaves several areas that he won't be trained in, such as Kenjutsu, his wind and lightning affinities, along with his Genjutsu skills. I believe I can help the boy in his first 2, as I've an affinity to wind and am skilled in Kenjutsu, and Koharu could help him with his Genjutsu and quat. This of course gotten several murmurs of agreement, as Danzo's skill as a shinobi were well known and he could help Naruto greatly in those areas. Koharu also nodded that she would offer her assistance as his Genjutsu skills are equally well known. Sarutobi of course expected something like this to happen, as he knew Danzo planned to do something like this, so to try and get close to Naruto and manipulate him to what he wanted Naruto to do for him. He also that was also why he suggested Koharu to teach Naruto Genjutsu, as she shared many common beliefs that Danzo did and could also use her to get to Naruto as well. That is a very generous offer, Danzo, but I'm afraid that I already have people picked to help Naruto in those areas, said Sarutobi with a barely seen smirk. At this, Danzo narrowed his eye very slightly so that it was hard for anyone to tell that he did. And may I ask, who have you picked in those areas? He asked. I have chosen my son Asuma to train Naruto in improving his wind affinity from time to time, along with Yuhi Kurenai from time to time in Genjutsu. Kakashi has also volunteered to help Naruto improve his lightning affinity, and I have chosen Kushina, who will be assisting Tenzo, who will now be known as Yamato, where she will be training Naruto in Kenjutsu, Fuinjutsu when Jiraiya is away on missions, and helping Naruto in his water affinity, said Sarutobi as he smirked inside his mind. Although Kakashi is a fine choice in helping in the boy's lightning affinity, and Kushina-san is an equally fine choice in teaching him Kenjutsu and helping with his water affinity and Fuinjutsu, I believe that Koharu and I would be better choices in improving his Genjutsu skills and his wind affinity. Although both your son and Kurenai are highly skilled in their areas, both have their own Jinan teams, and it would interfere with their teaching with their own Jinan teams, where they will suffer for it. While Koharu and I are more flexible and have more time to help the young boy and have more experience and knowledge than they would, and other than our official duties, we are on the reserve shinobi list, allowing for more training time in those areas, said Danzo, as he knew that he could not get close to Naruto through Kenjutsu now, as Kushina was a far better Kenjutsu user than he was, and he was no longer in his prime. Even if he was more skilled in Kenjutsu or in his prime, he knew he could not win to train Naruto, as she could use her clan's strong ties with the Senju clan to persuade everyone to allow her to help train the boy, as the Uzumaki clan and the Senju clan were distant blood relatives and shared a common ancestor, not to mention the boy's great-grandmother was a member of the Uzumaki clan. Knowing this, he tried to get close to Naruto through training him in wind affinity and maybe Genjutsu, through Koharu. Many on the council, mainly the civilians, muttered in agreement with Danzo, as what he said was indeed true, but thankfully Sarutobi was prepared for something like this. Although that is true, both Asuma and Kurenai along with Kakashi have already agreed to help Naruto, where they will train Naruto at certain times, when they're training their own Jinan. This will also allow Naruto to form bonds with their Jinan students and become friends with them, as from traveling all around the continent with his mother and having no one but her and her apprentice Shizune to be with. Naruto has very few friends his own age and he would be further isolated from others his own age as Yamato's apprentice. Hence mixing him in with the other teams will allow Naruto to make friends his own age and at the same time allow him to form a bond in the village in Quat. At this most of the council now seemed to mutter in agreement in the Hokage reasoning, as the most important thing right now was for Naruto to form a bond in the village, so that he will more likely stay in the village and remain loyal to it. At this Danzo knew he could not win and coincided defeat, as Koharu also seemed now to agree with Sarutobi's decision. As Sarutobi smiled at his victory over Danzo, he could see the near glare the old war hawk was giving him. You won this round Sarutobi, but this war is far from over. I will get the Senju boy, thought Danzo as the council meeting now ended. But before they all left, Sarutobi issued a new decree, which was that Naruto abilities were to remain hidden and only known to the people in this room from now on. So to prevent others from outside the village from finding out about Naruto's abilities, or at least for now and wait until the time was right to reveal them. As if they revealed Naruto's skills and abilities too, so it could cause both Naruto and the village a lot of trouble in the near future, especially before Naruto can begin to get better use of his Makuten bloodline. As other villages may try to kidnap Naruto so they can use him, Sarutobi backed up this decree up, stating that if anyone spoke it to anyone else outside this room, he or she would be charged with endangering village security. This of course was punishable with spending 20 years in a maximum security cell with the worst of Konoha criminals. Sarutobi also told Kakashi that after the meeting was over, he was to go and tell both Sakura and Sasuke that they were forbidden to tell anyone of what they saw Naruto do. Where if they told anyone or it is discovered they told anyone, they would have their ninja licenses revoked, their chakra sealed, and suffer the same punishment as anyone on the council that broke the Sandaim's degree. He even told that to make the especially clear to Sasuke, in case he believes that his status of the last of his clan protects him from such punishments. The civilians' council members of course argued about that to the Hokage, but the Sandaime would not budge on the matter, stating that if Sasuke would not obey the Hokage's orders like any true Konoha shinobi, then he did not deserve to be a shinobi of Konoha. Kakashi of course nodded in understanding and promised to make sure that both Sasuke and Sakura understood the seriousness of the matter when he spoke to them after the meeting. Once that matter was settled and everyone had agreed, the Hokage ended the meeting, where everyone slowly left the room, quietly talking amongst themselves what they had found out in the meeting. With Naruto in the village, as Naruto was walking through the village, he saw all the different stares he was getting from everyone as he walked by. Many were even whispering to one another as they looked at him and made way from him as he walked through the street. Naruto hated all this as he didn't like all the attention he was getting because it was all about being the heir of the Senju clan, along with the descendant of the Shadaime and Nidaime Hokages and Tsunade's son. It was even worse when he went into grocery stores as people called him Senju-sama and even tried to give him free stuff, which he refused. Having enough of this, Naruto decided to jump onto the roofs and make his way to one of the training grounds so he could be alone and train as well as get away from all the people's stares. As he made his way along the rooftops, he suddenly heard some commotion coming from an alleyway he just jumped over. When he looked down, he saw a group of kids with sticks cornering a young pup that looked scared and hurt, where they seemed ready to attack it. Angry at what he saw, Naruto decided to stop it, where he quickly did a few hand seals and the cried out Suten, Teppodama, water style, gunshot, and fired several large balls of water from his mouth at the kids' heads, soaking them completely. After which he jumped down between the scared and hurt pup and the kids, who were now soaking wet and laying on the group. I suggest you brats scram it and leave this pup alone, or else you will deal with me, said Naruto angrily. At the sight of Naruto and seeing his headband, the kids got scared and ran off, although as they did, Naruto shouted out, and if I ever see you picking this pup or any other animal again, I do more than wet you and quat. Once the kids were gone, Naruto turned to the pup that was hunched down against the corner whimper. The pup was a medium brown color, with a mixture of dark brown and light brown, and he had bright blue eyes, too. As he got a better look at the pup, he saw that it looked more like a wolf, but he doubted that a wolf cub would wander into the village. He guessed that it was half wolf and half dog. Hence he guessed that the pup belonged to the Inuzuka, as they had many different types of dogs, meaning that if the pup belonged to anyone, it was them. As he tried to pick the pup, it growled and tried to bite him. Seeing this, Naruto figured that the pup was scared that he would hurt it. Naruto then went and took out some ham sandwiches he had made for himself to eat later. He then took out some ham out of one of the sandwiches and laid it out on the ground in front of the pup and stepped away from it and waited for the pup to take it. At first the pup did nothing and just watched Naruto cautiously, but soon enough it started to sniff at the ham and slowly crawl over to the ham and started to nibble at the ham. When Naruto saw this, he smiled, and once the pup had eaten the ham, he gave it another piece. Upon eating the second piece, Naruto picked the pup up. When he picked the pup up, yelped and started to struggle. "Hey, easy little guy, I'm not going to hurt you," said Naruto as he started to pat its head and rub it to get the dog to calm down. Soon enough the pup started to calm down. Naruto gave it another piece of ham, where the pup started to eat it. As it was doing that, Naruto then did a few one-handed hand seals and Shosen Jutsu, mystical palm technique, and began to heal the wound he saw on the upper leg, not doubt getting the wound when he was running from those kids that were attacking it. Naruto had learned one-handed hand seals from Shizune, who knew a few and had taught them him, although he had to learn the rest from reading about them in scrolls. After about a minute or two, Naruto had finished healing the pup's leg wound, after which he then put the pup down and then banged the pup's leg up. When Naruto was done, he smiled down at the pup. "Now doesn't that feel better?" To which the pup yelped again as if saying yes and started to lick his face, which caused Naruto to smile and laugh as the pup licked him. Naruto then picked the pup up again and then said, "Okay little guy, let's see if we can find your home," after which he started to walk to the Inuzuka clan compound, where their kennels were. A little later in the Inuzuka kennels, as Naruto made his way through the Inuzuka compound, he soon reached the kennels. When he got there, he saw Kiba, who by the look of things was being told off by a young but older looking girl, who looked to be nearing her later teens if not early 20s. Also with them were Akamaru and 3 dogs that Naruto guessed belonged to the girl. The girl herself had the traditional fang-like tattoos of the Inuzuka clan on both of her cheeks, in addition to a tattoo on her upper right arm that resembles a flower. She had long brown hair that was tied into a ponytail that went down between her shoulder blades with one hair bang on each side of her face. She also wore a standard flak jacket, with black shorts and green armbands. When he got closer, he started to hear what the girl was saying. "How you could be so stupid not to make sure that the gate was closed when you came to feed the pups is beyond me. I had my hands full with their food and I had about a dozen more chores to do after that. It's not my fault he went off. You know he's never got on with the other pups," replied Kiba, who was annoyed with being told off. But after he said this, he saw Naruto coming towards them. "Senju, what the he are you doing here? Come to gloat at me cleaning up dog poop? Get over yourself, Kiba. Despite what you think, my world doesn't revolve around you. I just came here to return this pup, which I guessing belongs to you," replied Naruto as he held out the young pup, which yelped upon seeing Kiba and the girl. "Kurimaru," cried the girl as she quickly went over to the pup. She then took the pup from Naruto and held him up. As she did this, the pup licked the girl's face, happy to see her. When he did this, she smiled. As she examined the pup, she noticed his bandaged leg, where she then looked at Naruto and asked him what happened to his leg. "Did you hurt one of our pups, Senju?" accused Kiba as he took a step forward and pointed accusingly at Naruto. "Of course not. I was the one who healed him and saved him from those who attacked him," replied an annoyed Naruto. "Yeah right," scoffed Kiba, not believing Naruto. Naruto was about to retort to Kiba's comment, but before he could, the girl spoke. "Stop making such an ass of yourself, Kiba, and shut up for once and let's hear his side of the story. Besides, Kurimaru wouldn't have been hurt in the first if you had done your job right and closed the gate when you brought the pup's food," rounded the girl. "But sis, spoke Kiba before his sister gave him a glare that told him to shut it, after which she then told Naruto to explain what happened to Kurimaru. Naruto then spent the next few minutes explaining to them how he stopped the kids from attacking Kurimaru. Once he finished, Kiba's sister narrowed her eyes at hearing how a group of kids attacked Kurimaru, where if she had been there she would have done more than just given them a soaking. When Naruto had finished what had happened, Kiba just scoffed again. "And we're just supposed to take your word for that, Senju?" "It's the truth," replied Naruto as he narrowed his eyes as he was starting to lose his patience with Kiba. "Yeah right, I bet," said Kiba, but was interrupted by his sister again. "I thought I told you to shut it," Kiba said, his annoyed sister. "But Hana, you can't actually believe his story?" asked Kiba in disbelief. "Why shouldn't I?" asked Hana. "He could be lying, for all we know," replied Kiba. "If he is and he had attacked Kurimaru, why would he heal him? Why would he bring him back here, and why is Kurimaru not growling at him or seems scared of him either? For once, Kiba, use what little brains you have in that thick skull of yours and think about it before you say it," said Hana. At this, Kiba had no answer for and just stomped his foot on the ground angrily, while Naruto just smirked at seeing Kiba being put in his place by his sister Hana. It was at this point that a new person joined the group. "What all the commotion going on over here?" spoke a middle-aged and medium-high woman who had animalistic look similar to that of Kiba. She also had long spiky brown hair, vertical slit-like pupils, elongated canine teeth and nails, as well as Inuzuka clan fang markings on her cheeks, as well as markings over her eyes and a dark shade of lipstick, and wore a standard outfit of a Konoha shinobi. Accompanying her was a large black dog with an eye patch over its left eye. When Naruto saw her, he guessed that she was Kiba's and Hana's mother due to the similar features she shared with Kiba. "Well mom, it seems that when Kiba over here was feeding the pups, the baka forgot to shut the gate shut right and Kurimaru got out, where he wandered into the village and was attacked by a group of kids. Luckily though, Naruto here was nearby and was able to rescue him and even heal him after he got hurt," spoke Hana. Hana had looked over Kurimaru's bandaging, When she checked him over, and even though Naruto had no veterinary skills, he had done a pretty good job of treating Kurimaru. After giving Kiba a verbal berating about how he should be more careful and telling him that he would be on kennel duty for another month, much to Kiba's misery, Tsume turned to Naruto. "So you're the young Senju pup I've been hearing about so much these days," said Tsume as she turned to look at Naruto. "You have caused quite a stir in both the village and the council lately, especially after what I've heard at the one I was just at a little while ago." "Yeah, I beat," replied Naruto with a sigh, as he guessed what many of them were talking about. "What are you talking about, Mom?" asked Kiba. "Sorry, can't tell. The Hokage forbidden anyone from the council and those privileged with info from speaking about it to anyone without his say-so first," answered Tsumi. Where Kiba just huffed, annoyed at the fact that the council were talking about something about Naruto and he didn't know about it, while his mother and Naruto did. "Also, I want to thank you for agreeing to keep the incident with Kiba a secret," said Tsume, as she was grateful, as it would have disgraced their whole clan had people know about it, even if Kiba had been tricked. At the mention of the incident, Kiba frowned, as he did not like reminded of it, where he sulked and looked away. "No problem, Inuzuka-sama. I didn't think you clan needed to be embarrassed in front of the whole village, because of a stupid mistake that Kiba made," said Naruto. "Hey," cried Kiba angrily, where he was about to start argue about what Naruto said, but before he could, his mother spoke up. "Shut it, Kiba, what he said is true. If you had used your head instead of letting your bruised ego rule you, then you wouldn't have been so easily tricked in the first place," reprimanded Tsume angrily, as she was still angry at Kiba for being such a baka, after which she then turned back to Naruto. "Call me Tsume, as I don't like those kind of titles. Oh, a world of warning, pup. I suggest that you watch out for some of the other council member, especially those with daughters, as you can bet that they will have their daughter go after you in the hope they can find a way to get you to marry one of them, so to improve the social status along with other things, which I'm sure you know what I mean," spoke Tsume, where Naruto just nodded, as his mother had already told him to watch out for those types of people and girls once his existence and abilities were known to the council and the village. "Yeah, I know all about that, as I expected it, so I know what to expect from certain people," said Naruto. At this, Tsume nodded, where she and Hana then spent the next few minutes talking to Naruto, where Hana even questioned him on his medical skills when it came to animals, as he had shown some decent skills in it when he helped Kurimaru. "Tell me, Tsume-san, is Kurimaru a half-breed of a wolf?" asked Naruto, as he had guessed it when he first saw him but still wasn't sure. "Yeah, he is," replied Tsume, as she was surprised that Naruto could tell. "How did you know?" "Well, he oblivious has some of the features of one, but there are a few small differences that say he isn't a full-blooded wolf," answered Naruto, as he read up about dog breeding in a book about animals. Tsume was of course impressed further after hearing this. "I also couldn't help overhearing Kiba saying that Kurimaru doesn't get on too well with the other pups. Why is that?" asked Naruto. "Well, one day Kurimaru's mother got loose and lost in the forest. A few days later we found her alone, and a few months later she gave birth to Kurimaru and his 3 brothers and 3 sisters. We guessed that she must have met a male wolf in the forest and mated with him, and although Kurimaru brothers and sister look and act more dog-like, Kurimaru looks and acts a little more wolf-like, where he likes to roam around and doesn't like being cooped up in a pen and doesn't get on too well with his siblings and the other pups," replied Tsume. "And what about his mother?" asked Naruto. "She was killed when on a mission along with her partner," said Tsume sadly. Naruto lowered his head sadly at that, as the Kurimaru and his sibling were basically orphan pups, although at least they were luckily enough to have the rest of the Inuzuka clan to take care of them. Soon enough though, Naruto decided to leave as he had some training to do. As he was walking away, Kurimaru jumped out of Hana's arms and went over to Naruto and started to pull on his pants and try and stop him from leaving. "Well, it seems that Kurimaru has taken a liking to you, pup, and doesn't want you to leave," said Tsume with a smile. "I guess," said Naruto with own smile as he panted and rubbed the pup's head. "I think that you're the only other person other than myself or my mother that Kurimaru seems to really like," commented Hana, with a smile. "Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe you should come around a little more, pup, as I sure Kurimaru would like to see you again. Consider he taken a liking to you, and you're more than welcome too," said Tsume. "Thanks, Tsume-san, I just might do that. How does that sound to you, boy?" spoke Naruto, where the pup barked, as if agreeing. After a few more minutes, Naruto said goodbye to Kurimaru, Tsume and Hana, and then headed to one of the training grounds to begin to train. 2 days later at night, just outside Konoha, currently waiting behind the shadow of a large tree of the forest outside of Konoha, was a young gray-haired Jonin with glasses by the name of Kabuto. Kabuto was here to meet with his master Orochimaru, as he had valuable information that he knew his master would be very interested in. Kabuto of course did not have to wait long, as Orochimaru appeared out of the tree. "So Kabuto-kun, what 5 is it that is so important that you needed to see me?" asked Orochimaru with a sinister-like smirk. "Well, Orochimaru-sama, I have some news that you will find very interested to learn," replied Kabuto calmly. And what is this news? Asked the snake Sanin. It seems that your former teammate Tsunade-sama has had child, a young boy to be precise, who has just recently become a Jinan, said Kabuto. At this news Orochimaru, eyes slightly widened. He had never expected Tsunade of all people to ever have a child, due to the loss of her brother and her late lover Dan. Once he got over his shock, he started to smirk a little. Huuao, interesting. Who would have that? My old teammate Tsunade would actually have a child. Do you know who the boy's father is? I'm afraid not. Orochimaru-sama, as your former teammate has kept the identity of her spouse and the father of her child a secret as no one seems to know, but we do know that he is dead now, replied Kabuto. And what of the boy's skill level? Asked Orochimaru as he was interested in how his old teammate has trained her young son. I'm afraid I am currently unaware of what the boy is capable of, as the Hokage is keeping the boy's skill level a secret, as very few people know about the boy's skill level and those that do know are not talking. As from what I gather, the Hokage has classified the boy's skill level and abilities, answered Kabuto with a slight frown, as he was not used to knowing so little about a subject of interest, and it did annoy him a little. How disappointing, Kabuto-kun. I would have expected better from you, since if my old sensei is going to all this trouble to hide the boy's abilities, they must be something indeed, replied Orochimaru with clear disappointment. Forgive me, Orochimaru-sama, I will make a better effort to learn more about him, replied Kabuto. See that you do, Kabuto-kun. Now can you tell me the boy's name and what team he is on, spoke Orochimaru. The boy's name is Senju Naruto. He is currently on Hatake Kakashi team and has teamed up Haruno Sakura and young Uchiha Sasuke, who you have asked me look up on, spoke Kabuto calmly, as he knew his master would find that bit interesting. Well now, I must admit it seems that my old sensei has not entirely lost his sense of humor by placing the last heir of the Uchiha clan in Konoha along with the last heir of the Senju clan on the same team together. Not to mention very convenient of him for me, as if young Naruto-kun and young Sasuke-kun prove to be both worthy, I may have two potential vessels on the same team together. It should be interesting to see how those two get on together, spoke Orochimaru. That may be a problem, Orochimaru-sama, spoke Kabuto, suddenly causing the traitorous Sanin to look at him. How so? He asked, although I have not confirmed if it is true or not, but I have heard a rumor that the boy may be switched to a different team, to whom and for what reason I'm not certain of, as there are many theories, but he may not be on the same team with young Sasuke-kun for much longer, said Kabuto. How disappointing, but regardless it does not really change anything. If he does change teams, I think I will arrange a little test for him before the Chunin exams, to glace a glimmer of his skill and potential, as I think it's only fitting that I test my old teammate's son capability, said Orochimaru with a sinister smirk on his face. At this Kabuto nodded agreement and told him he would make an effort to keep an eye on Naruto and learn everything he could about him. Before he left to return to the village, Kabuto handed Orochimaru a picture of Naruto so that he would know what he looks like. When Kabuto left, Orochimaru looked at the photo of Naruto. He could not help but lick his lips of the potential vessel that Naruto might make for him. I look forward to meeting you, Naruto-kun, as I will be seeing you very soon, said Orochimaru to himself before he disappeared once again into the trees. Chapter 13, Apprentice. Konoha. The sun rose as usual into clear skies over Konoha and the Yamanaka flower shop in the early morning. Yamanaka Ino had been given the early shift by her mother. What a way to start my last free day before I begin my team training in Quad, she grumbled aloud. And after tomorrow I have to spend most of my time with lazy-ass Shikamaru and Choji the gluten. I can't even go track down Forehead Girl and get her to tell what happened in her team exam, although I know they passed, as she with Sasuke and Naruto-kun, the two best ninjas from our class. Ever since her little stumble with Naruto, Ino could not help but think about Naruto, and his dreamy clear blue sapphire eyes, when she stared into them when she had landed on top of him in class. At first Ino tried to brush the images off, but every time she did, she would subconsciously think about them and Naruto's face and the feeling of being on top of him, which made her blush each time. What more, when she went to bed she had several dreams of her and Naruto being together, one where Naruto was her Prince Charming and swept her off her feet, another was her and walking down the wedding aisle with Naruto waiting for her at the end. The third was her Naruto together with three blonde little children, two girls and one boy, standing in front of them, while she held an blonde baby girl in her hands. After the dream, Ino had brushed it off again, thinking her mind was playing tricks on her, as she loved Sasuke-kun. But the next day, after Shikamaru, Choji and she had passed their team test and had finished celebrating at the barbecue restaurant, where Choji gorged himself on the pork, Ino decided to see how Sasuke was doing and if he wanted to celebrate with her on passing their team exams by going out on a date. But as she headed toward the Uchiha compound, she noticed several kids soaked to the skin from top to bottom, running as fast as they could out of an ally, along with hearing Naruto voice shouting, "And if I ever see you picking this pup or any other animal again, I do more than wet you and quat." When she looked in, she saw Naruto helping a scared hurt pup, where he then healed it and fed it. Upon healing the hurt pup, he came out of the alley saying something about bringing the pup home. After hiding and then following Naruto, while staying hidden, she saw him bring the pup to the Inuzuka kennels, which Ino guessed was where he came from. After talking to Kiba, more like argue, along with an older girl and women, who Ino had guessed were Kiba's mother and sister, for a few minutes Naruto left. But not before the pup started biting onto his shinobi pants to get him to stay, where Naruto promised to come back and visit. After that, Ino continued to follow Naruto while staying hidden, where she then saw him make solid clones of himself, much to her surprise, and the trained with himself by either taijutsu or using his sword or practicing his throwing and aiming with his kunai, shurikens and senbon needles. She also watched him eat some sandwiches and giving his leftovers to some hungry birds and animals that were staring at him nearby, after which he went back to training. As Ino watched him, she could not help but see that Naruto was a very kind person. She of course quickly tried to tell herself that Sasuke was just as nice, but of course she couldn't lie to herself, as in all the different times she had followed and watched Sasuke, she had never seen him once do anything remotely nice to anyone or anything like Naruto had done. Later on, when she got hungry and her stomach started to growl, as she eaten anything at the barbecue, as she was dieting. But when she had tired to hush her stomach's growls, she had noticed 2 ham sandwiches on a small red cloth on the ground next to her. Naturally she had been surprised and wondered where they had come from. But she quickly figured out that somehow Naruto knew she was watching him, and had sent a clone to sneak up to her and lay the sandwiches next to her. At first Ino tried to ignore her hunger as she was dieting, but her resolve had ended soon and she ate the sandwiches, upon which she decided to go home, knowing she had been caught. When she went home she met her father, who had just arrived home from a special council meeting. When she asked what it was about, he told her it was about Naruto, but other than that he refused to say, which Ino hated, as being the daughter of a shinobi interrogator made her natural curious. When she had went to bed she had several more dream about her and Naruto, after which she decided to follow Naruto the next day and find out why her subconscious found him so appealing. For most of the second day she followed Naruto around, where he went to do some shopping. Naruto greeted respectfully to anyone who greeted him first, unlike Sasuke, who would normally ignore people's greetings. Later on she also watched Naruto being chatted up by several girls from her class, where upon seeing this Ino actually became jealous and was actually tempted to go over and beat the crap out of the girls. She also noticed that unlike Sasuke, Naruto did not simply ignore the girls and walk past them. Instead he spoke to them kindly and respectfully, where when each of the girls tired to ask him out on a date, he politely refused, saying that he was busy training or doing something at the time and saying things like perhaps another time, but thank you and I'm very sorry but I can apostrophe T and quat. The more Ino watched Naruto the more she saw how better he seemed to be that Uchiha survivor, though she had been less than pleased at those thoughts, as despite common belief she is by no means a shallow, frivolous girl. Yet no matter what she used to try and convince herself of Uchiha Sasuke's superiority, it failed time and again whenever she tried to compare the Uchiha pretty boy to Senju. Naruto carried himself in a nobler, regal manner, yet with none of the overlaying dark shadow that seemed to be cast over the Uchiha survivor, and the fact that he acutely smiled and spoke more and was more polite than the young Uchiha. As she had thought these things, she couldn't understand at first why she was letting Naruto get to her like this, as she knew the boy for barely a few days, and he had already invaded her every thought. Each time she tried to remember the face of her beloved Uchiha, somehow, inexplicably, the sun-kissed blonde's kind, gentle and happy visage would surface eventually, replacing the scowling image of the raven-haired prodigy. But the worst thing about this whole ordeal was that Naruto did absolutely nothing to her to cause this. At all. It wasn't until much later on in the day that Ino finally realized she was somehow falling for the young Senju heir, after which she decided to find out more about Naruto, before she would make her move on him. Hence why she was itching to find Sakura, and hopefully find out as much as she could from her. As luck would have it, the fates weren't completely against her that morning. No sooner than she'd wished she could go find Sakura, than the girl walked into the shop, causing the little bell over the doorway to jingle merrily in greeting. "Good morning, Ino Pig. Mom sent me to get her weekly flour order." "Your mom's got a weekly order now, forehead girl?" Ino opened up the box containing little cards with the shop's orders written on them, and flipped through to the H section for Haruno. "Yeah, she's into this feng shui thing now, and convinced that fresh flowers improve the energy of the house." "Cool, I'll go get them. Dad did the order this morning before he left to go training. And quat. Her dad was one of those weird morning people freaks. I'd better come and help, there'll be a lot of them." The two girls headed into the back room. Ino flipped her long blonde hair over her shoulder and then started gathering the things listed on the card. "I'm actually pretty glad you came in here this morning, Billboard. I wanted to officially let you know that I'm withdrawing from the Uchiha Sasuke fan club." Sakura was so shocked that she dropped the lilies she was holding. "What? Well, he so yesterday, you know? Now that Naruto-kun is around, there's no reason to drool over such a boring and cold boy like Sasuke. Blasphemy, cried the pink-haired girl. Come on Sakura, you saw how well he did at the academy exam, as he passed the tests without even attending a class even once. On top of that, he's Tsunade-sama's son and the last descendant from Senju clan, the founding clan of the village, and both the Shodaime and Nidaime Hokage. Sasuke-kun is also the last descendant of the Uchiha clan and they helped found the village, and Sasuke was named the Rookie of the Year, while Senju was made dead last. Not to mention Sasuke-kun is dark, handsome, and mysterious. You know as well as I do, that was because Naruto only did the test and didn't do the 4-year class terms. Besides, the tall, dark, handsome thing is way out of style now. You're always so behind the times, Sakura. Also, everyone knows that it was the Senju clan's idea to found the village first, and it was the Shodaime who built most of the village with his Makuten powers along with the forest. As for mysterious, this Naruto-kun's got it in spades. His moms raised him outside of Konoha for his own protection, and they say his father was such an awesomely powerful ninja with so many enemies that there's a law or something about saying his name. That's stupid. Sakura planted her hands on her hips and glared at her rival. Hey, I'm just telling you what I heard. The Senju founded this village, you know, that makes him as close to a prince as we're ever going to get here. Besides, he's definitely handsome looking as well as cool looking, as he wears a chain earring on his ear, meaning he a rebel as well. Also, he has bright blonde hair and impossibly blue eyes, she sighed dreamily. Well, okay, you can join his fan club if you want to, said Sakura, as he had heard of a fan club for Naruto was being formed. But we're definitely not letting you back into Sasuke-kun's if you change your mind. There's no room for the fickle-minded in the race for Sasuke-kun's heart. Sakura tossed her hair and nodded decisively. That's fine with me, as long as you promise not to change your mind and go after Naruto-kun later, replied Ino. Deal, replied Sakura while thinking. Cha, I've won, and I've bet Ino Pig. Inner Sakura response of this was of course, Cha. Now with Ino Pig out of the way, Sasuke-kun is all ours. Cha exclamation mark and quat. Okay, now I want you to tell me what happened in your exam, as I want to know everything that happened in it. Don't spare any of the details, as my dad told me there was a council meeting about it, said Ino as she wanted out how well her Naruto-kun did. I can't, said Sakura. Why not? Said an annoyed Ino, as she placed her hand on her hips. Kakashi-sensei came to my house later on after the exam and told me I was forbidden to tell anyone what Senju could do until it official declared. If I or Sasuke-kun tells anyone, we'll have our ninja licenses revoked, our chakra sealed and charged with endangering village security and spend 20 years in a maximum security cell, said Sakura, as it kind of scared her at how serious Kakashi was when he said this. You're kidding? Asked Ino in shock, where Sakura on response was shaking her head indicating she wasn't. At this, Ino knew that Naruto was even more mysterious and special than she thought. If the Hokage would go to all this trouble to keep his abilities hidden from everyone, making him all the more desirable to her. Can you at least tell me how strong he is? Asked the blonde-haired girl. Not exactly, other than he is amazingly strong, stronger than Sasuke-kun, said Sakura grudgingly, as there was no point in denying it. At this, a triumphant smirk appeared on the young Yamanaka heiress face. Ha! In your face, forehead, that proves that my Naruto-kun is better than the broody Uchiha. In your dreams, Ino Pig, Senju may be strong now, but Sasuke-kun will surpass him in no time flat, countered Sakura. Oh yay! Replied Ino. Yay, said Sakura. Oh yay! Yay! Oh yay! Yay! This of course continued for several minutes, until eventually the two girls stopped and smiled at one another, where Sakura then asked a question. So does this mean we can be friends again? Sure, why not? Oh, you should come over to my house tonight. We can do each other's hair and discuss the relative merits of broody dark ninja boys and kind, mysterious blonde ones. Awesome, I'll bring low-fat ice cream. The next day, with Naruto currently running through the streets for his life, was everyone's favorite blonde-haired Senju. The reason as to why he was running was rather simple, for not far behind him was up to 50 girls from the newly formed Naruto fan club, who were shouting things like, "Marry me, Naruto-kun. I want to be yours, Naruto-kun. I want to have your babies." Originally, Naruto was on his way to meet up with his team at their training ground, but as he was heading there, he was confronted by a large group of girls from his fan club who then started to chase after him. Upon hearing the things that the girls were shouting, Naruto became further freaked out. Ka-chan was right. Fangirls are crazy as hell. As he didn't even know half of these girls, as many weren't even from his class or from the academy. Damn it, this is all Ka-chan's fault. She had to drill things like being polite to people and not to be rude. Why the hell do I have to be a nice guy? Why couldn't I be a jerk like the Uchiha team? All he has to do is look the other way and they faint, thought Naruto as he slightly blamed his mother for his good nature. Ever since going to the daimyo country estate, his mother had pounded proper manners into him, and to be polite as possible to people. Hence when his fangirls came up to him he politely spoke to them and denied their request for a date politely so not to hurt their feelings. Unfortunately this made Naruto even more desirable to the girls, as they saw Naruto as a perfect gentleman, hence why they were going berserk over him. As Naruto turned into an alley he found himself in a dead end, and before he could turn around the entranceway was blocked his fan club and he knew he was trapped. Fortunately though before they could pounce on the helpless Senju heir, a red blur suddenly appeared, upon which Naruto disappeared, right before the girl's eyes. "Where did he go?" asked one girl. "I don't know," said another girl. "Did he shine away?" "I don't think so, come on, he can't have gone far," after which the Naruto fan club proceeded to search for their missing love and quat. But unknown to the group of girls on the rooftop of a building not far from them, Naruto stood watching them, and sighed with relief before he turned to his rescuer. "Thanks, I own you one," and quat. The person in question was none other than Uzumaki Kushina, who was on her way to meet with Team 7 when she saw Naruto being chased by his fan club, and then being cornered by them. Seeing this, Kushina decided to help Naruto out a bit and save him before the girls ripping him to shreds, as it was her job to protect him and keep an eye on him. "Sure kid, no problem," replied Kushina as she got a better look at Naruto from the last time she saw him, and could not help but be amazed at how much he looked like Minato. Seeing Kushina looking at him with a strange look, Naruto decided to speak. "Is there something wrong, miss?" Realizing what she was doing, Kushina quickly regained herself. No sorry. I was just thinking of something, that's all, and call me Kushina and quat." At this Naruto nodded and held out his hand, which Kushina took. "Nice to meet you, Kushina-san," and quat. When Kushina shook his hand, Naruto could not help but have a strange feeling that he had met Kushina before. "Excuse me, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but have we met before?" As I have a strange feeling that we have, asked Naruto, which caused Kushina to smile. "Actually we have, we met when you took care of that snake Mizuki," replied Kushina. As Naruto thought back to that night, it suddenly hit him, "You were that Onbu woman wearing the fox mask," as he remembered that the woman had long red hair like Kushina and he recognized the sound of her voice and quat. Kushina just nodded her head in affirmation, telling Naruto that he was correct. "Although I'm no longer a Onbu as I'm a Jonin now," she replied. "Oh, then I guess congratulations, thanks. So are you heading to meet with the rest of your team?" "Yes I am, but how did you know?" asked a curious Naruto at how she knew that. At this Kushina smiled and said, "Well, if you follow me there you find out," before she then jumped over to the next building and started to head towards the third training ground. Not wanting to be left behind, Naruto quickly followed after her. At the third training ground, Sakura and Sasuke waited for their other teammates, although Sasuke had only arrived a few minutes ago, while Sakura had been there since 9 and waited for the rest of her team for the past 2 hours. It was only upon arriving that she remembered about Kakashi's habit of being tardy, where she decided just to wait. When Sasuke arrived she had tried talking to him, hoping to win Sasuke over, now that her biggest rival Ino had finally realized that Sasuke was hers and was now after Senju. But when she tried to talk to Sasuke he just ignored her attempts, where he just closed his eyes and waited for Naruto and Kakashi to show up so that they could start training and doing missions, where he can finally start getting stronger. Upon Sakura's 5th attempt at trying to talk to Sasuke, Naruto and Kushina appeared together. "Senju, you're late," cried an angry Sakura at Naruto for arriving right when she was about to make her move on Sasuke, again. But upon shouting this she quickly noticed Kushina. Sorry, but who are you?" Before Kushina could answer, Sakura, Kakashi, Yamato and another young boy appeared. Good, everyone is here so we see," spoke Kakashi, but was interrupted by Sakura shouting, "Sensei, you're late." Sorry about that, I got lost on the road of life," replied Kakashi, with one of his lousy excuses, which made Kushina and Naruto smirk, Yamato to roll his eyes, Sasuke to scoff, Sakura to fume and the boy with Kakashi to simply look at him curiously. "Now then, as I was about to say, now that everyone is here I can tell you that there are going to be some changes in our team." "Changes? What changes, Kakashi-sensei?" asked Sakura, while Sasuke raised an eyebrow in curiosity as well. "Well, to put it simply, Naruto will no longer be on our team, although he will work with us from time to time and join assignments and missions," spoke Kakashi. At hear this Sakura was cheering inside her head along with her inner self at finally having Sasuke all to themselves and being rid of Naruto. But then Sakura decided to ask something. "Sensei, why exactly is Naruto leaving our team and who are these people?" "Well, you see, these people here are Yamato and Kushina. They used to work with me when I was in Onbu," replied Kakashi, which surprised Sasuke and Sakura at hearing that their sensei used to be part Konoha's elite shinobi division. Naruto will become Yamato's apprentice, while Kushina will be assisting him in Naruto's training and quat. Upon hearing this, Sasuke stood up angrily. "Why is Senju getting an apprenticeship with 2 senseis? who are both former Anbu ninjas. While I'm stuck on a team, I just as special as him and my clan is just as noble as his. Sakura, who would normally have backed up Sasuke on such matters, but had remained silent as she could not help but be hurt at the fact that Sasuke didn't like the fact that he was on a team with her. Naruto also remained silent as he knew it was best that he say nothing as it would only make things worse, not to mention he was still a bit surprised at hearing this. The reason being Sasuke is because Naruto is a special case and there are certain things I cannot teach him, such as his Makuten, which I cannot help him with, although Yamato and Kushina can, replied Kakashi. Not to mention the fact that the kid kicked your sorry ass in your bell test, spoke Kushina with a smirk, where Kakashi groaned and slapped his head to his forehead in shame and embarrassment, while Naruto just smirked, as upon hearing of his defeat, none of Kakashi's former Anbu colleagues or his fellow Jonin senseis had let him forget about it, where they teased him relentlessly. It only got worse as when they asked how Naruto beat him, where Kakashi couldn't answer, due to the Hokage forbidden in mentioning Naruto's abilities to anyone, until they were officially revealed. Natural when he refused to answer, as the other believed it was because he was too ashamed and embarrassed by how Naruto defeated him to mention it to anyone, hence they just teased him more. It got even worse for Kakashi when Guy heard of his defeat to Naruto, where the eccentric shinobi started to shout out about how the flames of youth burned brightly in Naruto for defeating his eternal rival in Quat. After which Guy took it upon himself to help Kakashi regain his lost flames of youth from his defeated to the youthful Naruto, where Guy then dragged Kakashi on several of his exercise regimes and doubled his challenges to Kakashi. The last 3 days had been utter hell for the one-eyed ninja, whether it was from endless amount of teasing from Kushina and his other fellow shinobis or Guy's relentless attempts to help him. Upon hearing Kakashi's answer, Sasuke just glared angrily at Kakashi, as he was not happy to hear this and saw this as just an excuse to give Naruto special treatment and allow him to gain even more power, while leaving him, Sasuke, behind. Not to mention he didn't like being reminded of how powerful Naruto was and how weak he was in comprehension to Naruto. Then who is he? Asked Sakura, as she pointed to the boy next to Kakashi. The boy in question had short ink black hair, ink black eyes, and extremely pale skin. He carried a small backpack and wore a short black jacket. He also carried a tipless tanto on his back, while his outfit consisted of a high-collared midriff shirt, black pants, shinobi sandals and gloves with his index and thumb fingers exposed. Sakura also noticed there was a slight physically resemblance between him and Sasuke despite the boy's short hair and pale skin. Allow me to introduce you to your new teammate Sai, spoke Kakashi, introducing his students to Sai, who stepped forward. Humph, looks like another loser to me, muttered Sasuke, as he looked away from Sai. Oh, that's funny coming from a useless, dickless pantywaist, said Sai, while having a smile on his. What was that? Spoke Sasuke as he glared at Sai angrily, who just had his smile on his face. Hey, don't call Sasuke-kun that, cried Sakura angrily, as she was angry at the Sai had called her Sasuke-kun useless and dickless. That's no way to talk to someone. We're on the same team now, and if you call everyone that, everyone will hate you. Oh really? Said Sai with the same smile on his face, and I really like ugly bitches like you. What? Cried Sakura angrily, where she was about to attack Sai and beat him to a pulp, only to be held back from behind by Kakashi, who could only wonder if this was the correct decision after all, at seeing how Sai got on even worse with Sasuke and Sakura than Naruto did with them. As this was happening, Naruto was laughing his head off at what Sai had said. Ha, 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 brilliant, said Naruto. I think I might actually like this guy, he thought. Good one, man. Name's Naruto. Nice to you, said Naruto as he held out his hand and offered to shake Sai's hand, which he took. Nice to meet you too, dickless, replied Sai, where as soon as he said this, Naruto's grip on his hand suddenly tightened, but still had a friendly smile on his face, where he then asked, what did you just say? I said you're dickless. Are you deaf as well, answered Sai, still smiling, where as soon as he did, an evil smirk suddenly appeared on Naruto's face along with a dangerous look in his eyes that Kakashi, seen only a few days ago, knew well. Before anyone could react, Naruto sent Sai flying away, through 3 nearby trees with a punch to the face, after which he started to crack his knuckles in an all too familiar way to what his mother would do. Both Sakura and Sasuke, as they were both surprised by Naruto's sudden punch, but quickly regained himself, where Sasuke smirked and gave a nod of approval to Naruto at what he had done. Sakura also smirked as well, pleased at what Naruto did to Sai, only wishing she had done it herself. Cha! Serves the bastard right, how dare he call our Sasuke-kun dickless and useless. Cha! Thought inner Sakura. Naruto would of course gone after Sai to beat him up some more, had Kushina not appeared next to him and said, easy there kid, I think he's got the message. No need to go overboard, said Kushina, calming Naruto down, while thinking, the kid may look like Minato-kun, but he acts more like his mother and Quat. while at the same time Yamato was beginning to wonder what he had gotten himself into. Once Naruto had calmed down, Kushina turned to Kakashi, suggesting that they take off now with Naruto, and leave him with his team. Kakashi nodded in agreement, believing it might be best, where he could then see if Sai was alright and then try and get his reformed team to work together. As this was happening, Sai was currently slumped against a tree, with a broken bleeding nose, and a slight concussion. Perhaps pissing him off was not the wisest course of action, especially with him having monstrous strength like that. I'm beginning to see why Danzo-sama is so interested in him, he thought. Originally Sai was to be the third person on Team 7, as his orders were to monitor Sasuke and see if at any point he would wish the village harm or turn traitor, while at the same time watch his progress as see if he might be a worthy candidate for root at some point in the near further, where if he was, Danzo would then use Sasuke drive for revenge against his brother and offer him training to become stronger, thereby mold Sasuke into a perfect loyal shinobi for Konoha and him, where he then would use Sasuke to rebuild the Uchiha clan into a perfect loyal clan to Konoha and him, Danzo, as well as perhaps use Sasuke to kill Itachi, thereby eliminating the threat that Itachi posed to him as well to help him further his goal to become Hokage and reform Konoha into his image. But if Sasuke showed the chance that he would betray the village and join an enemy of Konoha, or simply go rogue, then Sai was to kill Sasuke on the spot. But upon Naruto arriving in the village, Sai orders had changed, where Danzo had ordered Sai to monitor not only Sasuke, but to monitor Naruto as well and to study him carefully and report anything of interest or noteworthy to Danzo. As Danzo knew that although Naruto would an apprentice to Yamato, he would still work with Team 7 on joint missions and training along with other teams, thereby allowing Sai the chance to watch Naruto, so that he could learn as much about Naruto as possible, as well as monitor his growing skill level, so that at some point Danzo could use what he learned to get close to Naruto and manipulate him, or better yet have him join him. With Naruto, Yamato and Kushina after the little event at the third training ground, Naruto, Yamato and Kushina shunshined into an isolated clearing in the forest, so that they could have a little privacy. Kushina made double sure of it by placing several seals on some of the trees around the clearing, and created a four-corner privacy zone, where no one would be able to enter it nor would they be able to hear what they were saying. Now with that little episode is behind us, perhaps we should try and get to know one another better, spoke Yamato, taking a page from Kakashi's book, hoping to forget what had happened. Fine then, how would you like to start it then, Yamato? Asked Kushina. Perhaps, by telling each other our likes, our dislikes, hobbies and dreams, said Yamato, taking another page from Kakashi's book. How both you guys go first, as I know nothing about either of you other than your names and that you be my new senseis, while your guys probably know a lot about me from the Gigi, spoke Naruto. At hearing Naruto calling the Hokage Gramps, Kushina smiled, as when off duty she just called the Hokage old man, which eared many frowns from people. Yamato on the other hand raised one of his eyebrows, but decided to let it go, as it was common knowledge how close the Sandaime had been with his students. Hence it would be only natural that Tsunade's son would see the Sandaime as a grandfather. Many of the children in the village today look to the Sandaime as a grandfatherly-like figure as well. Soon though, both Kushina and Yamato nodded their heads in agreement in talking about themselves first, as it was only fair, as they did know a good bit about Naruto already. Very well then, my name is Yamato. My likes are walnuts and growing things, my dislikes are any food that is oily and those who put their comrades in danger because of their reckless behavior. My hobbies are reading books about architecture, and as for dreams, I don't particularly have any dreams, to be honest, said Yamato. After Yamato finished, Kushina then spoke. My name is Uzumaki Kushina. My likes are ramen, particularly salt ramen, and playing pranks on people. My dislikes are perverts, people who make fun of my hair, coffee and anything bitter. My hobbies are pulling pranks and chatting to my friends. As for my dreams are to have my own family, and to be the first female Hokage, said Kushina as she cried out the last part and punched her fist into the air. At this, Yamato had a large sweat drop on the back on his head and shook his head in embarrassment at Kushina's antics, while Naruto just grinned, as he was already starting to like Kushina, as she liked ramen, pulling pranks, hated perverts and wanted to be Hokage just like him. Ha! Well, you better get line, lady, because I telling you I going to be the next Hokage, and that's a fact, stated Naruto as he stood up to Kushina. Ha! Like a brat like you will become Hokage. You may think you're hot stuff because of your mom, dad and the rest of your family, but it takes a lot more to be Hokage than just being born from a family of Hokages. So don't think for 1 minute that you be handed the title because you're the descendant of the Shadaime and the Nidaime, stated Kushina. If they did, then I would refuse it, as being Hokage is meaningless to me if I haven't earned it and if it's given to me because of my ancestors, retorted Naruto. At hearing this, Kushina smirked, as she was starting to like Naruto, as he definitely got the drive and the determination to being Hokage. It was at this point then that Naruto remembered what Kushina said a minute ago. Wait, you said not to think I'm hot stuff because of my mom and my dad. Do you guys know about my dad? Asked Naruto. This of course caused Yamato to smack his forehead and cover his eyes and shake his head, as Kushina the blabbermouth had done it again, as they were told not to tell Naruto that they knew his full heritage unless it necessary. Kushina of course could only scratch the back of her head in embarrassment and blush slightly and have a cheesy grin on her countenance. Deciding to answer Naruto's question, Yamato spoke up. Yes, we are aware of your full heritage, Naruto-san. Did Jiji tell you? Asked Naruto, thinking that old Hokage told them, since they were going to be his senseis. No, Jiraiya-sama informed us, replied Yamato. Uro-sennin told you, stated Naruto in slight surprise. Uro-sennin? Asked Kushina with slight confusion. That what I call Jiraiya, as he the biggest pervert you can find around and he is a sage after all, answered Naruto. Upon hearing this, Kushina burst out laughing, saying that was a perfect nickname for Jiraiya as it suited his perfectly, and wondering why she never thought of that herself. After a few minutes Kushina calmed herself down, where Naruto then asked why they were told, as his mother and Jiraiya made it perfectly clear that the fewer people knew about his dad the better. Kushina then went on to explain how they found, after which Naruto then smacked his palm to his face and shook his head. Damn Uro-sennin, trust him to open his big mouth, Ka-kan is going to kill him when she finds out in quat. But as he was thinking what his mother was going to do to his big mouth godfather for saying something he shouldn't in front of people, Naruto then remembered something else that Kushina said. Wait, Kushina-sensei, you said that your family name is Uzumaki, as in the Uzumaki clan from Uzushio-gakure no Sato, village hidden among the whirling tides? Asked Naruto, where Kushina just nodded. Then that means we're related in a way, as our clans were distant relatives and my great-grandmother Uzumaki Mito was from your clan, stated Naruto, as he knew all about his clan relation to the Uzumaki clan and how both the Uzumaki clan and his clan shared a common ancestor and were distantly related to one another and had close ties. She had even told them that those ties continued on when his clan formed Konoha and the Uzumaki formed Uzushio-gakure, where both villages had equally strong ties, which were only strengthened when his great-grandfather married his great-grandmother Uzumaki Mito. When the village was destroyed at the end of the Second Great Shinobi World War, as a sign of respect and as a sign of the strong friendship between the two villages, countries and clans, all Konoha shinobi vests bear the crest of Uzushio-gakure. I guess you could say that, said Kushina, as in a way Naruto was right. That's pretty cool, as in a way we're kind of like distant cousins, something said Naruto with a smile. Yeah, I guess we are, replied Kushina with her own smile. Yamato, who was watching this, could not help but smile, and silently remark at how much alike the two were, and was glad that they were getting on so well, as it made things a lot easier when he and Kushina started teaching Naruto, as despite his great skill and talent, Naruto still had a lot to learn. Hey, now that I think about it, I also remember hearing your name from Uro-sennin and something about you, spoke Naruto. At this Kushina became slightly worried, as she was hoping it wasn't about her past relationship with his father, as if he did know that then it could make things very awkward from them, especially when she was training him. Now I remember, you used to be in my dad's class when he was in the academy, there was also some nickname that they used to call you, said Naruto as he was trying to remember. What was it now? Apple, tomboy, tomato. Yay, now I remember, it was tomato, because of your round face and red hair that was shaped like a tomato, said Naruto. But in the moment after Naruto said tomato, he began to wish he hadn't, has when he said it he suddenly came face to face with something that even made his father, the legendary Konoha no Kyoto Senko, Konoha's yellow flash, cower in fear, as he came face to face with a furious Kushina. For the moment that Naruto said the word tomato, a dark terrifying aura surrounded Kushina along with glowing eerily red eyes, while her bright red hair began to rise and move around like roaring flames. Yamato, who saw this, slowly yet silently moved away a bit and behind a nearby tree, as he didn't want to be near what he knew what was going to happen next. As Kushina temper was legendary in Anbu, where if they valued their lives no one, not even the Hokage, would dare piss the women off. He also hoped Kushina wouldn't kill Naruto, as if she did chances were the Hokage may pin the blame on him. When Tsunade returned and found out her son was killed, so that he wouldn't have the faced Tsunade wrath himself. In that moment when he saw Kushina in her terrified form, that Naruto also remembered another name that Kushina was known as, the Akai Chizio no Habanero, red hot-blooded habanero, where according to his godfather, back when she was a kid a group of kids teased her openly over her hairstyle, and it being new, having enough of their teasing, she had attacked all of them and beating them into a bloody pummel, and did so to anyone else who ever teased her. This of course earned her the nickname Akai Chizio no Habanero. It was when Naruto came face to the furious-looking Kushina, that he finally learned what it was like to be his perverted godfather when he was facing his mother's fury. For according to Jiraiya, Kushina's fury was said to rival even his mother's fury, where it could make the likes of his father, Jiraiya, and the Sandaime, cower like frightened rabbits in the face of it. Crap. thought Naruto when he saw Kushina, where he could have swore he saw a devil-like horns sporting out of her head. After which he then did the only thing a man could done in his position. He ran like the wind, with Kushina the Akai Chizio no Habanero hot on his heels. For the next hour or so people from around Konoha could hear loud explosions, angry and frightened cries coming from the forest, as well as seeing several large mushroom-shaped clouds from large explosions. After about an hour or so Yamato was finally able to calm his captain down, although it had not been easy. Luckily though Naruto was quite good at evading all of Kushina's attacks thanks to the many years of his mother's bombardment training. Hence other than a few scratches that were quickly healed thanks to the Kyuubi, Naruto was relatively unharmed. Once Kushina had calmed down, Naruto made a mental note never to piss off Kushina or get on her bad side again, although another part of him, the prankster part of him, made a mental note to get his godfather in trouble with her and see what she would do to him. So if you guys know about my dad then I guess you also know about you know what? Asked Naruto referring to the Kyuubi. Yes, we are also aware of that, which was another reason why Kushina-senpai and I were selected by the Sandaime Hokage to train you, so that in the event that you might accidentally unleash the Kyuubi's powers in battle and you lose control of yourself, Kushina-senpai or I can stop you and contain you until you revert to your normal state, replied Yamato. But I have never used the Kyuubi power before, nor do I know how to beside. According Uro-sen and my Makuten powers help suppress its powers and most of its effect on me, retorted Naruto. That is most likely true, but eventually at some point you will be called upon to use it or accidentally access its power during battle, and regardless of your Makuten powers, the Kyuubi chakra and influence can overcome you, as like all Jinchurikis, your emotions are linked to your Bijou. So if you feel a tremendous rage or anger it's highly likely that you will inadvertently access the Kyuubi's power and go out of control, spoke Yamato. Okay, I get that, but what can you guys do to stop me, if I do go out of control when I'm using the Kyuubi power? Asked Naruto. Well, like you Naruto-san, I possess the power of Makuten, while Kushina-senpai has particularly strong chakra that is well suited for restraining Jinchurikis or more precise Bijou if they go out of control. Also Kushina-senpai is extremely skilled and knowledgeable in Fuinjutsu, where she shared some of her knowledge with the Yondaime Hokage, spoke Yamato. At this revelation Naruto was of course surprised. You taught my dad Fuinjutsu? But Uro-sen always said he taught my dad everything he knew in Fuinjutsu, said Naruto in surprise. Jiraiya likes to think he did, but I thought your dad few tricks here or there as my clan were famed throughout the world as Fuinjutsu masters, replied Kushina. So could you teach me some things? Asked Naruto eagerly. That what I'm here for, replied Kushina with a smile, where Naruto then started to jump up and down saying how he couldn't wait to get started, before he then stopped, as there was something else he wanted to know. Wait, how are you able to do Makuten? The only other person alive other than me that can use Makuten is a guy named Tenzo, as he had my great-granddad's DNA placed in him by that snake team Orochimaru when he was a baby, spoke Naruto. Naruto knew all this thanks to Jiraiya who told him, upon telling him, how Naruto was going to be trained in using his Makuten bloodline. When Naruto learned what Orochimaru did, it made him sick, where he swore if he ever saw the snake bastard he'd punch him so hard that he splatter all over the continent. That is I, as Yamato is my code name, which is what I would like you to refer to me if you please, although my real name and Tenzo, 1, spoke Yamato/Tenzo. Okay then I mean Yamato-sensei, spoke Naruto until he realized something. Hey, I just realized, if you got my grandfather's DNA in you then that means, you and I are related too and quat. At this Yamato raised an eyebrow in surprise, and thought about it for a moment and realized that technically Naruto was correct as he did indeed have the Shodaime Hokage's DNA, meaning that technically he was in a way related to Naruto. I believe one could see it that way, but if you would Naruto-san I would like you to keep that revelation hidden for now at least, as it would cause unneeded confusion and questions among the populace of Konoha. So I would think it best that we keep this to ourselves, spoke Yamato, where Naruto just nodded in understanding. Okay kid, I think it's time for your introduction as we have both done ours while you have yet to do yours, spoke Kushina. Okay then, spoke Naruto, my name is Senju Naruto, my likes include ramen, Maika-chan, Shizune One-e-chan, our pet pig Tauntaun, Uro-senin, playing pranks, my friends, training and reading. I dislike, bullies, traitors, the 3 minutes that take to cook my ramen and perverts. My hobbies are training, reading and gardening and making perverts suffer. My dreams for the future are to be a great medic nin like Maika-chan, to restore my clan and to be the greatest Hokage. That way, people will stop always comparing me to the rest of my family and acknowledge me as myself and not someone related to great ninjas. So you better put your dream of being Hokage on hold for a while sensei, because I going to be Hokage, said Naruto with confidence. At this Kushina just smirked and said, will we see about that soon enough kid. Okay then, now that introductions are all done, Naruto-san, I would like to know exactly how many jutsus you know and how skilled you are in your Makuten bloodline, so that I will know where to start, said Yamato. Also I want to know how skilled you're in using your katana and what kind of seals that Uro-sennin has taught you, said Kushina, using Naruto nickname form Jiraiya, as she just loved the sound of it as it fitted so well with Jiraiya. Not to mention she couldn't wait to see him again and see his reaction when she starts calling him that. Well, in water ninjutsu I know Suten, Mizurappa, water style, violent water wave, Mizu Bunshine no Jutsu, water clone technique, Suten, Teppodama, water style, gunshot, Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, water style, water dragon bullet technique, and Mizu Fu, Kanbo Rakurai, Psycho no Suryuden Dinaki, water, wind, lightning combo, supreme electric water dragon. In earth ninjutsu I know Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, earth style, double suicide decapitation technique, Doten, Moguregakura no Jutsu, earth style, hiding like a mole technique, Doten, Dachu Aigyo no Jutsu, earth style, underground projection fish technique, Doten, Doraku Geishi, earth style, earth shore return, Doten, Ritsudo Tensho, earth style, tearing earth turning palm, and Tsuchi Bunshine no Jutsu, earth clone technique. I don't really know any lightning techniques other than how to channel it into my katana to increase my katana's cutting and stabbing power. With the exception of Sarashu Fu, wind slash, I don't really know any wind techniques, other than how to channel it into my katana to increase its range and cutting power. As for Makuten I know Moku Bunshine no Jutsu, wood clone technique, Makuten, Henge, wood release, transformation, and 2 technique I created myself, Makuten, Mokushoku, wood release, wooden tentacles, and Makuten, Nino Sashi, wood release, impaling roots. In Genjutsu I know Megan, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, false surroundings technique, Kori Shinshu no Jutsu, sly mind effect technique, Megan, Narakumi no Jutsu, demonic illusion, hell viewing technique, Megan, Jubaku Satsu, demonic illusion, tree binding death, Megan, Niju Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, double false surroundings technique. As for sealing, well, I know how to do a chakra suppressing seal, although it not that strong. I know Shikoku Fun, finger engraving seal, Kekai Koti Fun, 4-corner immobilization seal, Fuinjutsu, Shishiyamamai Zuke Shiru, sealing technique, 4 limbs weighting seal, Infuen, Kai, Yin seal, release, and generic sealing. I also know regular henge, transformation, Bunshine no Jutsu, clone technique, Kage Bushin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique, Taju Kage Bunshine no Jutsu, multiple shadow clone technique, Shunshine no Jutsu, body flicker technique, Kawarimi no Jutsu, body replacement technique, and using Shozen Jutsu, mystical palm technique, Chakura no Mesu, chakra scalpel. My taijutsu is okay, especially when I use my superhuman strength, although I can't really rate it as I created my own style myself. I'm pretty good when it comes to healing injuries, illnesses and poisons and using poisons, although I'm nowhere near Ka-chan's and Shizun Wani-chan's levels. My kenjutsu is also okay as I had some decent teachers and I'm also pretty good when it comes to using and throwing kunais, senbon's needles and shurikens, said Naruto. Upon hearing all this, both Kushina and Yamato were naturally wide-eyed with surprise, as they never expected Naruto to know so many different jutsus, as it was exceedingly rare for anyone Naruto's age to know so many different technique, let alone a Jinan. Wow, that an impressive arsenal you got there, kid, commented Kushina. Indeed, replied Yamato, as he was also impressed that Naruto was able to use any Makuten techniques with no real help, not to mention create his own Makuten jutsu. As when he first started to use his Makuten powers, Yamato had to rely heavily on the Makuten scrolls he was given by the Sanadaime Hokage from the Senju clan's secret library. Also, he noticed that with the exception of Shozen Jutsu, Chakura no Mesu, Megan, Jubaku Satsu, Infuen, Kai, Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, Mizufu, Kanbo Rakurai, Psycho no Suryuden Dinaki, Sarashufu, Kage Bushin no Jutsu and the Taju Kage Bunshine no Jutsu. Most of Naruto other jutsus were C, D and E rank jutsus, but I'm not familiar with the Infuen, Kai jutsu that you mentioned, stated Kushina. Ah, that's because it's Infuen jutsu that Ka-chan created herself and she placed on me and taught me how to use, replied Naruto as he then took off his Konoha headband and lifted his fringe to show a blue diamond on his forehead, much like his mother was known to have. What does it do? Asked Kushina, generally curious. The seal involves me focusing and building up a large amount of chakra and storing it into the diamond-shaped seal on my forehead over a period of time. When I release the seal, the chakra that I have stored in the seal is to pump back into my body. This then allows me to perform another technique that Ka-chan created and taught to me called the Sozo Seisei, Creation Rebirth, which uses the chakra I disperse to stimulate the proteins of my body, so to increase the speed of cell division and reconstruction of cells for as long as I have chakra. This allows me to recreate any organs and tissues that I may lose or is damaged, thus it is the absolute pinnacle of medical ninjutsu. Although the technique itself does not regenerate the old cells, rather it hastens the creation of new ones through division, so in a way for the duration of the technique the user gains a form of immortality as they cannot be killed easily, stated Naruto. Upon hearing this, Yamato and Kushina were left gaping at hearing of Tsunade creating such a technique, as well as Naruto being able to use such a technique, although it proved without the shadow of a doubt that Tsunade was indeed the greatest medic in the entire world, as to be able to create such amazing technique. Although like all great ninjutsu this one has a serious side effect, continued Naruto, causing Kushina and Yamato to refocus their attention on him again. For you see, a body's cells can only split a certain number of times in a lifetime, and by speeding up this process, the user lifespan will shorten, depending on the level of injuries they suffer. For example, if the user suffers not very serious injuries, then the user will lose very little of their lifespan, although if they're on the verge of dying or suffer a mortal wound, they will lose a large part of their lifespan. This is why Ka-chan has made both Sozo Seisei and Infuen, Kai-S rank techniques and declared the Sozo Seisei Kinjutsu, said Naruto. After hearing all this, both Yamato and Kushina were once again stunned to hear of the side effect of the technique, for as amazing as the technique was, it had a serious double edge to it. Why would Tsunade teach you such a technique if it's so dangerous? Asked Kushina, as she found it hard to believe that Tsunade would teach her own son such a dangerous technique. Ka-chan would rather have me shorten my lifespan by a bit, rather than lose my life entirely, answered Naruto simply. Hearing Naruto's answer, Kushina could only reluctantly agree with what Tsuan did, as if she was in Tsunade's position she'd rather have her child live with a slightly shorter lifespan than not at all. Very then, Naruto-san, now that we know where you stand in jutsu, we will test you on your taijutsu and kenjutsu skill, spoke Yamato. For the next hour or so Yamato spared with Naruto in taijutsu, without Naruto using his superhuman strength, where he was then able to gauge Naruto taijutsu skill level. When finished, Yamato had to admit that Naruto taijutsu skill was quite impressive and was equally impressed that he created it himself. Although there was several faults with his taijutsu, such as his stances could be too rigid at times, where he could not react as well as he should, and often enough he left himself unbalanced at times, where an opponent could easily make him fall. But despite these defects along with several others, Naruto fighting style could one day prove to be a powerful fighting style one day, once he had perfected it, which he could with enough practice and the right training. After Yamato had finished sparring with Naruto, Kushina then began her spar with him in kenjutsu, where they spared for another hour. When finished, Kushina was greatly impressed with Naruto's skill, as unlike with his taijutsu, Kushina could tell that he had some training from a skilled swordsman. Since Naruto's skill with a katana was too high for it not to be, as he had proved he could hold his own for a while in a serious sword fight, before being defeated. When she had finished sparring with him, she asked who had trained him, where Naruto had told her about the incident at the Fire Daimyo's country estate and how, as a reward for saving his granddaughter, the Fire Daimyo had summoned Kensai, the strongest samurai and swordsman in Hai no Kuni, to train Naruto in using kenjutsu. Although Naruto did not mention Killer Bee has also trained him in kenjutsu, as he feared Kushina and Yamato would tell the Hokage, and causing many unwanted questions for him to answer, especially ones from his mother when she found out. Upon hearing Naruto saving the Fire Daimyo granddaughter, Kushina could not help but smile, as she could tell that Naruto had inherited his father's habit of going off to rescue people in danger and putting himself in harm's way. Well, brat, you sure know some powerful people, as having saved the Fire Daimyo's granddaughter probably earned you a lot of brownie points with him, as having someone like the Fire Daimyo as a friend and OU1, can certainly come in handy. Who knows, he might even later on try and arrange for you and his granddaughter to be hitched, teased Kushina, knowing it probably annoy Naruto, which it did. It's not like that, Rurishio-chan and I are friends and that's it, stated an annoyed Naruto. Ooh, Rurishio-chan is it? You sure move fast, kid. Are you trying to become the next Fire Daimyo already? Teased Kushina further, as she was really enjoying teasing Naruto. Hearing this caused Naruto to turn bright red, with anger and embarrassment at Kushina's teasing. She's as bad as Wani-chan. Thought anger Naruto. Seeing how angry Naruto was getting at Kushina's teasing and not wanting to have to chase after Naruto when he loses his temper and goes after Kushina, Yamato decided to nip it in the bud, suggesting that they all go out to dinner to celebrate their team's formation. This of course got the desired result, where the subject was changed from Naruto's relationship with the Fire Daimyo's granddaughter. As both Kushina and Naruto agreed, when asked where they would eat, both Kushina and Naruto shouted out Ichiraku Ramen Bar, which caused Yamato to sweat drop, at the two ramen fanatics. Soon enough Naruto and his two new senseis walked out of the forest and headed for Ichiraku as the walk through the crowded streets, where many people would stop to stare at Naruto and his senseis, or they would simply greet him, which Naruto would do in return. As they walked on through the streets both Kushina and Yamato felt as if they were being watched by someone, but when they looked around they saw and felt nothing. After failing to see or feel anything, both former Anbu members believed it was just them acting paranoid, as often enough when in the crowded streets of Konoha. The shinobis would sometimes feel as they're being watched when they weren't, due to always being on guard on missions. As Yamato, Kushina and Naruto walked on, a figure hiding behind the water tower on the roof of a building came out and continued to watch Naruto and his senseis, although did not try to follow anymore. My, that was close. I can't forget I dealing with the Barati Shinku no Ikari, Bloody Crimson Fury, and clearly the other person with her is a high-level Anbu like her, since he was just able to sense me. I can't afford to follow them like this, as chances are I might not be so lucky if I continue to try and follow them, thought the person following them, where when he stepped out from behind the water tower and he revealed himself to be Kabuto. Kabuto had been secretly following Naruto since they left the forest, but as he tired to get closer Kushina and Tenzo sensed him for a moment, forcing him to hide. He had tried to follow Naruto earlier, but had been forced to stop when Kushina appeared. He also could not afford to follow them to the third training ground, as he doubted he could avoid detection with two former Anbu captains there. Kabuto of course knew a great deal about Kushina, as she was a person of noteworthy interest, being a highly skilled and powerful shinobi as well as Anbu much like Kakashi. As if he went by her reputation alone, Kabuto knew she would a person that he would like to avoid fighting. Unfortunately Kabuto did not know anything about Yamato other than he was a former Anbu like Kushina. Deciding to leave his surveillance of Naruto for now, Kabuto then decided to send a report to his master Orochimaru that Naruto had left his former team and was under the apprenticeship of Uzumaki Kushina and another former Anbu named Yamato. He knew that his master wouldn't be too pleased of him gathering so little about Naruto's skill level, abilities and anything more about him, but there was little he could do without jeopardizing his cover, as he needed to stay in Konoha for just a little longer. But he planned on continuing his surveillance of Naruto another time, when things settled down a bit and hopeful Naruto and his teacher would have let their guard down a bit. He also made a mental note to try and find what out he could on Naruto's other teacher Yamato, as Kabuto was a perfectionist and didn't like to miss anything, as when it came to world of espionage, nothing could be left to chance or unknown, as even the small detail could decide the outcome of a mission's success or failure. Soon enough Kabuto left his spot at the water tower and returned home and prepare his report to Orochimaru. With Naruto, Kushina and Yamato. Soon after Kushina, Naruto and Yamato arrived at Ichiraku, where Kushina and Naruto proceeded to have a who could eat the most ramen contest, where the loser would have to pay. At this Yamato could only watch, as the counter became full of large towers of empty ramen bowls. Chuchi of course was overjoyed at the sight, as this would be a boom to his business, as naturally when he and his daughter first heard the Sandaime's announcement about Naruto being Tsunade's son and the Senju clan's heir, they had both been shocked. When they asked Naruto why he didn't tell them, he explained that he didn't want to be treated any differently than anyone else, where all he wanted was to be treated like a regular person. Upon hearing this they began to see where Naruto was coming from, as they could tell that he didn't like all the fame and attention he got, simply because he was the heir of the Shadaime, the Nidaime and Tsunade of the Sannin. After which both Tenchi and Ayame treated Naruto like he wanted, as a regular person, and did not call him Senju-sama or Naruto-sama. As both Kushina and Naruto continued their ramen eating contest, Kushina noticed Naruto blushing a bit when Ayame handed him another large bowl of ramen. Seeing that Naruto had a little schoolboy crush on the ramen chief's daughter, Kushina decided to tease Naruto a bit, where she whispered Naruto and Ayame, sitting in a tree, as well as saying what would Princess Rurishio and Shion think if they saw this, as Naruto had told them about what had happened in Oni no Kuni, Demon Country, with Shion, when they were walking to Ichiraku's. At this Naruto turned bright red and glared angrily at the red-headed women next to him. Once Yamato had finished his bowl of ramen and seeing that Naruto and Kushina had not finished their little eating contest, he decided to go to the bathroom behind the ramen bar. Soon after Yamato had left to go to the bathroom, Naruto and Kushina contest ended in a draw, as Tenchi and Ayame had run out of ramen to give to the two. It was upon hearing this that Naruto decided on another little contest they could have. Hey Kushina-sensei, since our contest ended in a draw, how about we have another contest, but this time instead of ramen we see who can prank the most people, said Naruto, knowing that his sensei liked to play pranks as much as he did. At this Kushina grew an evil little smile that would make a certain Snake Sannin proud, as she already liked Naruto's idea. You're on, Naruto. Okay then, let's start off by pranking Yamato-sensei, said Naruto, where he then whispered his idea into Kushina's ear, which caused the red-headed women to grin evilly. Soon after Yamato came out of the bathroom, To find the stools that Naruto and Kushina had been sitting on empty. Where did those two go? Asked Yamato out loud, where Tucci answered. Ah, they left together just a few minutes ago. Also here, this is for your, said Tucci, as Head handed Yamato a small slip of paper. What is it? Asked Yamato. The total bill, as they said you would be paying, replied the ramen chief as he rubbed his hands together eagerly, knowing the amount due. Upon hearing this, Yamato looked to the grand total of the bill, where his eyes suddenly widened to the size of saucers at the amount due, upon which an anger roar to be heard around Konoha. Naruto, Kushina. Which was followed by a loud wailing sound, as the former Anbu member cried over his now empty wallet. This of course was not an isolated incident, as for the remainder of the day was followed many similar cries of anger, surprise and explosions, along with much cackling and laughter coming from a red-headed Uzumaki and blonde-haired Senju, as they unleashed total chaos on the unsuspecting village, where they competed against one another to find out who the better prankster was. The next day in the Hokage's office, currently sitting at his desk and fighting the never-ending battle against the arch-nemesis of all Kages and ruling leaders of nations, paperwork. As he had just about finished half of his paperwork, the Sandaime was certain that he could get the rest done in a few hours' time, where he could then spend the remainder of the day catching up on his reading of Icha violence. But upon thinking this, the Hokage's secretary came in with his 4 Anbu guards, where all 5 of them were carrying massive towers of paper, and laid them all on the Hokage's desk. What is all this? Asked the surprised elder Sarutobi. These are reports that need your signature, overview and stamp of approval on, replied the secretary. What? Cried the old Hokage as he stood up and slammed his hands on his desk in surprise, which caused the large towers of paperwork, along with the paperwork he originally had on his desk, to fall and collapsed on top of his and bury him under it. Soon after, the 4 Anbu guards dug their Hokage out of the mountain of paperwork, where the old Hokage started to weep, as he now not only had to do even more paperwork, but he would also have to sort out the paperwork he had already done from the paperwork he hadn't done. Soon after, he noticed that all his new paperwork were incident reports, damage reports and complaints about a large number of pranks that were played yesterday. Upon seeing this, the Sandaime Hokage knew exactly who were responsible for this new mountain of paperwork, where he then let out a large angry cry that could be heard all around Konoha, Naruto, Kushina. After which loud sorrowful cries could be heard coming from the Hokage's office, as he wept at the fact he now had even more paperwork and working well into the late of night. Not to mention, more importantly, he wouldn't get to read Icha violence. Well. It seems like we've come to the end of part 5 of What If Naruto Was a Senju. Again, please sub to my second channel just in case I lose this one, and also sorry for the voice changes. It happens when there are words that are bold instead of just a regular font. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, so have a wonderful day/night, bye.